Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Just had a set of these on. Had band rehearsal on Sunday.
You look like you just had band rehearsal.
That's right.
I hate to make you feel old,
Yeah.
but we've known each other for 20 years.
Okay.
Dude,
Thanks.
how wild is that? Does time fly or what?
Yeah,
We've been friends for 20 years.
that's pretty. Really?
20 years.
I haven't. You know what I did? I also experienced the odd time continuum to brief myself for this. I'm like, I should probably look back when I did this, and this, and this, that, and the other thing. I'm going, holy crap, I forgot all that. That was like 2004. Are you kidding me?
2004 seems so long ago.
Yeah.
That was the Fear Factor days.
Yeah. And
That's like round around when I met you, when I brought the Barracuda to you.
fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was, well, I have my handy cheat sheet here.
You actually made a cheat sheet to prepare for this?
Dude, I got
Dude,
paid.
by the way, the shirt, it's exquisite.
I got it.
I know, but
Can I officially gift you in front of the camera?
Please do.
Okay. So
this is a shirt with the Nova that Steve built for me.
Yeah.
Steve built the greatest Nova the world has ever seen, a 1969 Nova with
Camaro
you have to
sheet
see
metal.
it. We could talk about it all day, but people have to actually see it
but
online.
lots of fun. I wanted to do the
That's
kind
a
of
dope fucking shirt.
so there's a mixture of stuff like those clouds and stuff are taken from those crazy Chrysler ads in the 70s, like the Roadrunner stuff with the smoke building up behind it. We copied that. And then the sun thing was just in like every other 70s artwork I could find, And then, of course, the prerequisite small UFO. And I wasn't going to take your Joe Rogan Experience. And being that my other life was in rock and roll, of course, I leaned towards the Hendrix of RU Experience. So it came out pretty cool.
There it is. There's the car. The T-shirt's very cool.
Yeah, there it
There's
is.
the car. The coolest Nova of all time. I love that thing, man.
Thank you.
It drives
I love that
so
thing.
well.
It does.
I mean, it's not just so cool looking, like it drives
Oh,
The independent suspension, the way you set it up, was it Art Morrison?
Yeah, Morrison stuff. I went a little softer on the spring in the front and, believe it or not, a little stiffer on the rear, and played with it quite a few times before I delivered it to you.
It's magnificent.
Yeah, I was because I set it up. I didn't set it up for track attack because that's not what you're going to do.
Right. No, I'm just going to cruise around.
Right. So I set it up so when you go over those little joints in the road going onto a bridge, it doesn't.
Leave that up in the background, Jamie. Just leave that there.
That was the amazing
Look at that
photography of Wes Allison.
Wes Allison, you're the shit.
He is the shit.
That's a great picture.
Yep,
I think
beautiful.
I need to get a steel version of that picture and put it up in our. Yeah, let's do that.
How big do you want it?
I don't know. Pretty big. We need a big one, right?
It's
Just to
it
see
came
the
out real
details.
nice, and the funny thing is, I don't know about funny, but the point of it is there's so much done, and none of it looks like anything was done.
Yeah, it really does look like just a really cool 1969 car. If you don't know the manipulation that you guys did to the sheet metal.
Well, and not only that, the grill is changed.
Yeah.
The little headlight doors on the side, those are changed. I used to I would joke with different Nova people and go, "I'll give you $100 if you can tell me what I changed in the front." And they're
wow.
And they're like, we added bars. The grill is actually taller. Those bars.
What does it look like in real life? Do they just have black spaces?
What they had was a piece of plastic that came from underneath the bumper, and it went underneath that headlight and then came up. So you see on the very outer edge how there's like, I can't count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 8. Yeah, those bars right there. The bottom 3 are added.
Oh. Jamie, can you pull up a 1969
Just the stock 69 Nova.
Nova grill?
Yep, or a Nova front end.
Nova front end.
Yeah. But there's lots of little changes.
See what it looks like.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Can't
There you
kinda
go.
see it in that.
You can see how there's just a piece of plastic under it, and it comes up. The silver plastic comes up, so those ribs aren't. It's not the greatest photograph.
That's a better photo. That looks custom.
No, he's got the plastic coming
Yeah,
up.
he's got something
You can
else,
see that
though.
piece of plastic come up.
That's a
So
beautiful
we-
Nova, too. Boy.
So we extended the grill and extended those outer things to just fill up the space. It just
Such a
looks better.
Unique
there you
looking
go.
car. Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
That car is just so unique. It's such a, and I think it's one of those muscle cars that really never got its due because it kind of started out as more of an economy kind of a car.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nova wasn't like, if you had a Barracuda, you were the fucking man.
Right.
But if you had a Nova, it's like, oh, you couldn't afford a Barracuda. Like if you had a Duster.
Unless you had the Nova SS with the 396, but those were few and far between. There weren't a lot of people that ordered that.
When I was a kid, this kid in our high school had a Duster. What was the other one? There was a Duster. There's a Dodge.
Dart.
A Dart. Yeah, he had a Duster.
Or Valiant.
Yeah, and nobody gave it any respect. I was like, that's a cool car. Like, what's wrong with you people? But there was like this thing where like some of those older cars were less desirable. So I'm in high school so I graduated in 85. So we're talking about, I think my friend had this car in like 84. So, it really was only 14 years old, which is kind of crazy.
Yes, it is.
That's super crazy.
Like 86 when we were driving around, a 68 was only, 18 years old.
Right.
Wasn't an old car. Not
Yeah.
super old.
18 years old ain't shit. That's
Right.
like 2005?
You and I are about to do math.
Right? That's
23
bonkers.
minus 18. Yeah.
That's
a
bonkers.
2005.
Which is like kind of a new car.
Yeah.
Like if you have a 2005 car, you can't differentiate them at all from a 2020 unless you're like a car connoisseur.
Right. Yeah, sure.
If you have a 2005 Camry, it looks like a 2020 Camry, right?
It's interesting how time marches on, how perception
yeah.
of length of time,
It's
like
tr-
you were saying when we sat down with our friendship, let alone everything else. It's like,
going
how is that 20 minutes? Oh, it's going
very fast.
That's the one thing our older generation, when we were growing up, told us that was the one truth. It goes so fast.
Yeah.
Enjoy it because
It's also
gone.
because when you were a child, 1 year was literally like 1/10 of your life. It was so long.
it's an eternity.
Because you had so few points of reference. But then as you get older and you have more points of reference and more experience and more life, then you realize like, oh my God, time is full. I don't have much time at all. No one does.
It's amazing how
It goes quick.
the boost kicks in and all of a sudden 40, 50, 60. You're
Yeah.
like, what the hell just happened?
And you're just like, let's hang in there as long as I can. I got some stem cells today.
I did?
I was reading this thing here, I'll send it to you, Jamie. But they believe now that through stem cell technology, they're going to be able to extend lifespan far greater. And the article said something about like having people work until they're 120, which is like not a good selling point.
Yeah.
Here, I'll send it to you,
Hey,
Jamie.
you can suffer longer.
Yeah. Hey, you can hate what you do longer. You got it already? Oh, there's. We'll be living and working to 120, and it will start within a decade, says Doctor to the Star. So it doesn't. They're not necessarily saying you'll be working until you're 120, but living and working. So this guy is using stem cells. I believe we can create prolongation of life, von Schwartz cells. That sounds like the beginning of every horror movie. We believe we can have prolonging of life.
We can do it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, goody.
Probably within a couple of years, people can live to be 120, 150 years old, if not longer than that. It's not just bed-bound, non-communicating individuals, but really active individuals who participate in social life, professional life, and have a quality of life, because that's the goal. Yeah. I'm in. Let's go. I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying doing stuff. And my friends that are older, that are having like health problems, it really makes me realize like, man, you got to stay on top of everything. Because if you don't, if it slides off and then you have to try to bring it back up, it's way harder than maintaining.
Yeah. The stem cell thing, if Von Doom there could get on
the eyeball
fixing
stuff.
the eyeball,
Yeah.
I'd be very appreciative.
Let's tell everybody what happened to you, because this is a crazy thing. It's a real bummer, right? You just out of nowhere started seeing dark spots, right?
No, what happened was, little background. I had already, stage one was going into your local doctor eye guy because you have metal in your eye.
Oh, wow.
Because that's some of the fun that happens, even when you're wearing safety glasses. All the haters, calm down. We wear safety glasses.
How did it get in?
It just bounces around. You're working with a carbide bit spinning at 15,000 RPM. Stuff bounces around. But since then, I've been using. I found this place in France that makes these antique motorcycle World War I aircraft goggles
like the
that
Nazis
seal.
used to use for duels.
I don't know that one.
You don't know that
but
one?
But it seals to your eyes, and it's got little vents in it so they don't fog up. So, But anyway, I got metal in my eye, which is, for those of you who haven't done it, it's lots of fun. You hold still, you're wide awake, and they come at you with a Dremel drill bit, and they drill it out.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
So, and the instructions are, hold still.
Don't move.
Right.
Oh, my God.
I mean, they put a numbing drop in, but
So what?
you still see the drill bit coming.
Oh,
and
my
you,
God.
easy. You can handle
Oh, my God.
the stuff you've been through. I'm sure you can handle it.
Yeah, that's wild.
But so I've been drilled a couple of times. That sounds wrong. Yeah. And if they came up with a photo of my eye, it'd look like a golf ball, little dimples when the
boy.
drill comes in. So anyway, that guy is like, when they're in there, if they're experienced cats, they just happen to look around, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, I think you should come back and talk to our other Dr. So-and-so and have him do some tests because I saw some stuff, don't know, but I think it'd be wise if you blah, blah, blah. So I go in, we do the test, and the guy goes, and this is a while ago, 14, 15 years ago. Here we are again with that time portal.
Right.
He goes, you have advanced glaucoma. And I go, what the hell is that? And he goes, it's like creeping death. It slowly takes your peripheral. And most adults don't know that they're going blind till they're 80. And it moves so slow that you don't notice the change, right? Well, mine's trucking along. And so we start with medication that lowers in your eye. You basically got a faucet and a drain. And if the drain's plugged up or if the faucet's on overload, it's acting not like a water balloon, but pressure builds. That pressure is, think of your optic nerve, right? Your brain is the cable TV company. Your eye is the expensive flat screen TV and the cable connecting the two of them, right? That pressure building up is like somebody with the heel of his boot digging on that cable. And sooner or later, nothing, right? So you take medicine to reduce the pressure so it doesn't eat away at the optic nerve. Okay, great. We got that under control. We're killer. So then, probably 8-9 years ago, I have cataract surgery in my right eye. And put the cataract lens in, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's a crystal clear and beautiful and incredible, stoked on it. About a year passes, and I'm at PRI, which is the real serious race version of SEMA. It's in Indianapolis, so there's no fuzzy dice there. It's all race car parts and stuff like that. And I'm walking around, and I don't know how to describe it, but it actually moved in stages, like a curtain coming down of just gray. And then you just saw gray. And it was my retina falling off, detaching. So I'm in Indy, and I fly back and get together with the doctors, and they're like, we got to put that shit up. And instead of doing the long version, I'll give you the short version. 7 surgeries later. And every time you have the surgery, there's stitches in my eye. And that's fun. That's way more fun than the drilling. Ugh. And you're laying face down for a week.
Oh boy.
Can't move. And it just kept falling off. They couldn't go up. So I went to another surgeon. I also have a buckle permanently sewn into my eye. They try to change the shape of the eye to promote the retina staying up better.
Oh boy.
So anyway, got to new doctor, great guy, Dr. Asmali back home in Cali. And he's like, I got this, man. These other guys, they were losers. We're going to get it up there. And we're going to stick it up. That was surgery 6. And it didn't hold. And he was more, I think he was more depressed than I was. And So we scheduled 7, and he sat down with me. I remember before we went into the operating room. He goes, "Look, I don't think I can. I'm going to go try to save your eye. I'm not going to save your sight." Because, and he did it this way, which I thought was cool. He went and did a little research to speak in my language. And he goes, when you're trying to weld metal, if both the pieces are kind of rusty and beat up or whatever, that it won't weld very good, right? And I go, true. He goes, so you got to have clean metal to weld. And I go, yes, that's true. He goes, well, all the attempts have just
taken away
frayed the living shit out of the retina. So I'm going to cut away the yucky stuff, and I'm going to have a new edge to. They use a laser. They basically, the only thing they know how to do is tack weld it up. That's what they do, right? So he goes, I'm going to make new clean edges. I'm going to weld it up. You're going to lose some sight at least because I'm taking away part of the retina. But I'm going to save your eye, because if we can't get something going on in there, then your body will kill off your eye. It shrinks back. It's painful. Pop it out. Put a glass eye in. And I go, let's not. So he did that, and he goes, I cut away about 1/3 of the retina, and I had a visual, like a vertical rectangle of sight. Right, not all the way over to here, but. Fast forwarding, scar tissue moved over and pretty much just eliminated. And they're like, we can go in and... I'm like, no.
Jesus.
We're not going to go in and do anything.
Oh, Jesus.
So this one's basically gone. That's that for now. We'll see if science checks in.
Do you know who Michael Bisping is?
No, sir.
Michael Bisping is one of the toughest human beings that's ever walked the face of the earth.
Fair enough.
This is what I said. And not just because he was a UFC middleweight champion, but because Michael Bisping fought the last 10 fights of his UFC career, including winning the title, blind in one eye. And he didn't tell them. He hid it.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, he hid it.
He didn't tell anybody.
Do you know how gangster you have to be want to be fighting the best fighters in the world? Dan Henderson.
And not being able to see over here.
Anderson Silva, and you can't see out of one eye. Like his one eye is gone, man.
Yeah, I understand.
Which is fighting world-class fighters. That you can see his right eye is completely missing. It's just foggy.
Yeah.
He wears like a little thing that goes over it, like a lens, so it looks normal. But he's a fucking stud. That guy fought 10 fights with one eye. I mean, just think of a fight with 2 eyes is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And fighting against the best guys in the world. And he wins the title, knocks out Luke Rockhold with one eye.
Yeah, well, it took a lot. I would sit there and practice like basketball into garbage cans just to try to retain the
Depth perception. Right?
perception.
That's the real issue, right?
Yeah, it's difficult, and then also it's frustrating when you're. Anyway, the fun. I'll interrupt myself to continue with the fun. So now I'm where I'm at, right? And they're like, your other eye is going to need cataract surgery.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, so I did ask when the retina fell off. Hey, did the cataract surgery have anything to do with that? Possibly, And every doctor and every specialist and everybody I talked to all said the same thing. I'm paraphrasing. Well, any procedure on your eye might possibly have the possibility of...
Like one of them commercials for like a pharmaceutical drug.
So it's like, did the operation on your eye cause the retina to fall off? Anything could... Maybe.
Anything could maybe.
So anyway, now I've got to have cataract surgery on this one. I got a great guy who's one of the best in the West Coast, et cetera, et cetera. We do the surgery, and there is a mistake because they account for my pressures. They tried to keep the pressures low because of my glaucoma. Well, they went a little too far, and my pressures were down to, your normal eyes run, like your eyes probably run at like 20, 22, maybe even a little bit higher, but right around there for pressure inside. We'll call it air pressure. It's not the right term, but so mine with medication, we keep it down at like 13 and 12, right?
Okay.
So when after the second cataract surgery, the one on the one working eye, they had dropped the pressure so low, I coughed and it blew out blood vessels inside my eye, which when you wake up and you look, it looks like it's snowing inside it looks like it's snowing. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And at the same time, we did a special little surgery to like drill out the drain tube. Because in my eyes, the faucet's wide open and the drain tube's plugged.
Oh, boy.
That builds the pressure. So the medicine turns the faucet down and clears away the drain tube, right? So we drill out the drain tube. I'm making this, I'm sure there's eye guys listening. Well, that's not technically, look, they
Like
drilled
me
the damn.
describing mechanic work.
Right. They drilled the damn tube open.
Right.
So all the blood goes down and clogs that. Okay. So that ruined that. Yay. And so they rush me and they basically take a needle and insert fluid into my eye. I'm wide awake, mind you. Just two little, you ever been where the two handles under the table?
Oh, yeah. You grip on them.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Motherfucker.
Do they have your head secured or anything?
No, you just put it in the little foamy brace.
Oh, boy.
So they do that, and that was miscalculated, and the pressures went to like 62. And I was what's the word?
Terrified?
No, I was throwing up. I couldn't stand up. I was so disoriented because it was,
wow.
I mean, it was screwing with the deal. And so the doc, who, again, great guy. I'm not slamming him. And he actually met me at his office at like, I don't even know when it was, 3 a.m. and I'm throwing up in his bushes out front.
Oh, my God.
Right? And he did this 3 times. Head in the thing, hands on the handle, took a blade, lifted my eye and let the pressure out, let the fluid out. So I'm like taking that, right? So now we get the pressures under control, right? And so that was 2 to 3 years ago, and believe me, every day when I wake up and I can see, I'm like, is this the day this retina falls off? Am I going to have a repeat of the last one?
Oh, my God. I have clammy hands. I really do.
I'm the one living through it. You don't have to worry about it. You're good.
Yeah,
but
still, it's for you.
Yeah, it's, but it's like anything else when someone has something when something is always over your shoulder, you can either focus on it and worry about it or just go to the shop and build some cool cars,
Well, I'm glad you chose the latter.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only choice to make.
Yeah, I can't. So I do go like every 4 to 6 weeks. I have a lady I love, Dr. Tor. I go to her office. Luckily, it's like a 1.5 miles from my house. So I go down and we check my pressures. So I don't have to. She's like, you're fine. Come in 6 months. I'm like, no. I'm coming in once a week, But I come in at like 4 to 6 weeks. We check the pressures. We look at the retinas. So we're
Have you looked into stem cells? Is there anything with stem
There's
cells?
nothing as of now. I have a meeting with the Dr. Asmali. I'm getting together with him next month. And he's down at, I think it's UCLA. He's real hip with that stuff. And I'm going to
They're still hip? People are still hip?
Yeah, he's hip.
That t-shirt you're wearing, the 69 Nova with your fucking band hair. Hip.
Still hip, man. So
he's hipped all the new information.
Yeah, I'm going to grill him again, and I'm interested. I'm going to talk with him because I don't know. When they were saying we'll go in and clean the scar tissue, I'm like, absolutely.
Let me connect you to my friend Brigham. He owns Ways to Well, which is a stem cell clinic in Austin, and he is he was one of the most amazing guests I ever had on the podcast, where he explained how these things work. But one of the things that he does is he's always up on the latest research in terms of like what he's the one who sent me that thing, this latest article about
the thing that was up on the screen,
years old,
yeah.
the beginning of the horror movie.
This shall make you forever soldiers. Yeah.
Forever you will be connected to the big machine.
Oh, terrific! I'm in.
But let me connect you to him, and
right.
he'll know what's going on in terms of like if there's anything going on with eyeballs. There's a lot of really good stuff with neurodegenerative issues. People that have all sorts of neurological issues have gone down. I know Dr. Reardon from Panama was talking about that. He's the first guy I ever had come on and talk about stem cells. He's the guy that came on with Mel Gibson. I don't know if you ever saw that one. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
I how it was described to me was, again, there were, at least he was being honest. He was like, the retina is like brain tissue. We know what it is, and that's that's about it. We can't reproduce it. We can't copy it. We can't make it. We can't.
Well,
And again, all they do is tack weld it up with lasers.
My hope is they're going to be able to make new ones. Because one of the things they've been able to do with stem cells, they've actually made a woman's bladder, I believe. I believe they reconstructed an actual bladder with stem cells, with her tissue, and then put it in her body. Find out if that's true. I think that's true. Which is, obviously, it seems like that would be a less complicated thing than an eyeball that has to like take.
Yeah, and I've heard of them trying to, or somebody doing an eyeball.
Really?
Because it's easier to make the whole thing than try to replicate.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
I'm like, how are you going to connect it to all those optic nerves? How are you want that?
Yeah. What are you going to do there? And what does that do to the? Like, what if that goes south? And then all of a sudden you forget your childhood. You know what I mean? Like, what's connected back there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Dreams about hanging out with your brother that are going to be just gone forever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be interested to talk with Asmali again when I'm back in and just see if there's any new, because I'm down for it.
Jamie, did you find anything about them making eyeballs?
I was looking up a bladder.
Yeah, you were looking up the bladder. Did you find that? Is that real?
Making
I've found
is that real?
I think it's real, but I never know. I mean, I say things sometimes, and I go, "Okay, let me check."
Fair
Because
enough.
like a lot, I don't expect to be talking about people making bladders. It just, this wasn't part of the plan today.
Yeah,
It's just how it goes.
I'm the benefit.
my-
Oh,
No,
good.
we all are the benefit. It's just a real conversation.
the quick search shows that there's definitely studies on bladder regeneration, but there's a difference between then like getting a functional urinary tract, kind of like functional bladder.
I see.
So I think it does. From what I've looked at it, they
I
have
partially
gotten
see.
in an animal, in a small animal, I think is what it said.
Oh, so
Now
they
I'm, like,
didn't
looking
do it
for
to a woman?
That's what I was just looking into, and then you kind of cut me off.
Okay, go ahead. Try to find it for a woman, because I'm pretty sure I read that. I was very impressed. They could have got me, though. They could have got me some clickbait bullshit. They get me. So many times they get me, these motherfuckers.
Look at that.
But
Woman's
hey,
bladder.
that's their job. You got me. It's fair and square. That's the job. Their job is to fucking make some shit that you're going to click on.
Right.
So if they can make the most outrageous version of what is kind of true,
Right. It's iffy at best.
it's a little iffy, but it's kind of true.
A new bladder made for my cells, giving my life back, bioprinting human tissue, especially that's the same thing.
Is that it?
No, this is from 2018. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, that's it.
This was a little kid though.
Is it a girl?
Luke Masella.
Does he identify as a girl?
Way to push
Luke.
push that to the
I'm
edge.
trying to push gender ideology on Luke.
Does he identify as? Sure, why not?
I'm just trying to be right.
Maybe on Wednesday.
I'm just trying to be right,
I mean,
Jamie.
there are stories that are shown. I don't know if I might have to find something specific to find the one you're talking about, but
Hell with that. Find the eyeball.
Yeah, let's find the eyeball. The eyeball's more important to Steve.
Yeah. Yeah.
To all of us.
A little closer for me there. So anyway, I'm gonna revisit
lab-grown
and ask him if we have to go in like they did before to scrape off the scar tissue, because I did have a vertical slot of sight because this eye has a new cataract lens, which is still in there.
Right.
And I remember when I
But the scar tissue's covered over it.
yeah, when I could walk around again, and I was walking outside, I'd cover this eye, and there would be instead of this, it would be like that, a vertical, full height, but just not as wide, but clear sight. And I'm like, well, it's been a while now. If they can clear that off and I can get that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I mean, yes.
And so they think they can do that?
He suggested it back then. So I was not ready to do it. I was sick and tired of being on the table.
Right.
I literally knew how to put the IV. I prepped myself for freaking
You
surgery.
gave yourself an IV?
No, I'm just saying I could. I was so freaking. When you go in the surgery center and they go, "Hi, Mr. Strope,"
Yeah.
they recognize you.
Giving yourself an IV is next level, right? It's like
Yeah,
giving yourself a tattoo.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Guys who tattoo the inside of their own thighs, like, whoa.
Who the hell's doing that?
A lot of folks.
Okay. I'm glad I'm
Guys
not.
practice on themselves. Yeah.
I'm gonna say no for that one.
Well, tattooists do it to themselves all the time. If they want something and they maybe want to draw it, and they're very skilled. You know, maybe they want like a specific kind of flower somewhere,
Fair enough.
and they can reach it. Okay.
Stem cells
from one eye show promise in healing injuries in the other. Interesting.
There's another story too where a kid had a very specific eye injury that was
See,
called like
my
a stem cell.
problem. It's not my problem. Well, it is my problem. But my situation is there's stuff they do on the outside, like cadaver stuff, but the inside, like the retina, what I've been told is like no man's land. It's like, well, good luck, you know. It's like, oh, you can get that from a dead body. No, you can't. They can't replace a retina. And if I'm wrong, great, bring it on.
Maybe they just can't do it now.
Well, yeah,
but
that's
then
the
it's
thing.
also someone else's organ, so you're gonna have to take all these drugs to keep your body from rejecting it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no.
My friend C.T. Fletcher had a heart transplant a few years back. He's an amazing person. Like, it's a super, super inspirational person. And had a heart transplant. And now he has someone else's heart inside of him. Now he has to take medication.
That's so trippy.
It's crazy. So your body, when you have someone else's organ in your body knows it's not yours.
Sure.
So your body tries to reject it.
Right.
So I imagine that does wreak havoc with your immune system, but it's keeping him alive, and it's amazing, man. This guy's so full of love. He was like this crazy, wild, like power lifter dude who was like real, like just real motivational and aggressive, you know. And now he's like this, like real peaceful, interesting, like wise person who's enjoying his last moments alive. You know, but it's heavy. It's heavy. I mean, the heart is obviously the big one, right?
Yeah,
That's the big
probably really important.
We're fucking 10 years, 20 years away max from them being able to suck your brain out of your head and put it in a robot.
Oh, good. That'd be great.
They're going to give you a Steve Strope robot.
That'll be terrific.
You're going to look like Ken from the Barbie movie.
I hope not.
Yeah, and the first ones won't be able to feel real pleasure, and so you have to sign off on that. But then the next ones, the better ones, will.
That's where this is going.
So you have to decide whether or not you're going to get another surgery. Like, you're going to get they've never removed a brain from one robot and put it in another robot. You know that, right? Yeah, but they know how to do it. They're pretty good at it.
Who's they?
These new people in the future, the robot brain scientists.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Would you opt in for that, or would you rather just say, let's see what's next? Let's let the lights go dim and see what's next.
All right, good question.
It's a good question.
I don't know.
It's hard to say because everybody's scared to die, but no one's scared to sleep.
That's a good statement.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, because you're expecting. The odds are you're waking up.
You should be expecting the other one too.
Hmm.
You know?
True.
It comes for all of us.
Yeah, that's the great equalizer, is it not?
I wonder if that's like, you know, if Satan was real, that would be the ultimate temptation, to trick you into transferring your consciousness into something immortal so that you can never experience heaven. Wouldn't that be wild if that's what's going on? Because everybody wants to think that even people that believe in God, they don't necessarily talk too much about Satan. It's very rare.
I have a very your good old standard issue religious background with my parents.
What did you start off with?
And I'm from it. We're going to get into Appalachian in a little while. where I'm from.
Appalachia?
Appalachian.
What's that? What's
Appalachian Mountains, the yeehaw stuff down south.
What kind of stuff did you guys do?
What kind of stuff
If
did you guys do?
yeehaw stuff, what did you guys do?
Appalachian, New York is a
New York, okay.
very small farm town in upstate New York. Still has a red light at the end of it where it meets 434.
Okay.
Has a post office and a fire station.
Okay.
And known for a very important large mafia bus in 1957. There's
mafia bus?
There's actually a paperback and a movie about Appalachian.
What's the movie or paperback?
Appalachian.
It's just called Appalachian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And it's all about the mom?
It's a huge bust.
Look at it. On this day in 1957, the FBI finally had to admit that the mafia existed.
They were all gathered in a farmhouse, the leaders of the main mob families, and they were basically working out jurisdictions, properties.
I think I was researching some stuff one time, and I stumbled across this meeting happened after a failed meeting in Cleveland because the Cleveland family fucked up the meeting, and they got mad. So like, fuck it, we're doing it in New York.
Yep, they did it. And so the two sheriffs just saw these black Cadillacs and Lincolns going up to this farmhouse. And I think if memory serves me right, they kind of fucked up and all panicked and ran into the woods. In fact, no, they did do that. But if they would have said, hey, we're just hanging out.
Right.
What are you going to prove? But they all bailed, and they ran into that. If I remember right, they're coming out of the woods near where my grandma's house was. That was a dirt road back then, and I could take you there. The house is on top of a little hill behind the area where we have our firemen's field days every year. Yeah.
State troopers noticed all the fancy cars parked in Barbara's driveway and started taking down license plate numbers. Some have suggested that. How hard back then in the 57, you get a license plate number. What is it, like a week until you find out whose fucking car it is? You know what I mean? It suggests that one of the Genovese rivals tipped the cops in hopes of spoiling Genovese's crown ceremony. Oh, God. The assembled mafioso noticed this and began to panic. Some fled into the woods, some hid in the basement. Others ran to their cars and tried to drive away. The troopers caught about 60 of them. When questioned, many insisted they were there for a barbecue.
Yes.
They had just come to visit their good friend Joe Barbara, who was recovering from a heart attack. When all was said and done, the troopers had apprehended mafia leaders from New York, New Jersey, Tampa, Los Angeles, Cleveland, Dallas,
Yeah, it was a
Pittsburgh,
big meeting.
and other locations. But isn't that funny? Like, what did they bust them for? Just being there?
I don't.
Were they all wanted already? They just...
Well, I think the paperwork laying on the inside was showing dividing up territories. And
boy.
it was one of the first times that the FBI had
Hold
proof.
up. Look at this. The whole thing made national news and finally forced the FBI to acknowledge that organized crime was a matter worthy of notice. Some believe that J. Edgar Hoover's reluctance to acknowledge the mob's existence can be ascribed to the mafia somehow acquiring photographs of Hoover in drag and using those to blackmail him into leaving the mafia alone. There is no evidence to suggest that this is true. That was always the rumor that he but that would be the rumor if there was a guy that ran the FBI. Like, what dark secrets does he have? You know, if he's like holding the secrets of everyone.
What's his secret?
What's his secret? Probably you'd have to have secrets. You'd probably go crazy if you didn't.
Yeah.
You know, like you're the one who keeps the secrets. You'd probably do the weirdest shit. So
Possible.
So almost automatically you would think that he would wear drag.
Yeah,
Right?
that's where my brain goes.
That's where my brain would go. Like he's doing some freak shit.
He's doing some, quote, freak shit.
Freak shit.
Freak
And
shit.
you know, if you are more, dark-minded, you would think even horrible things. They're doing horrible things. That's always the worry that people have about like the elites. Like, what are they doing? Like the Skull and Bones and like what kind of fucking rituals?
Kind of
Bohemian
freak-ass
Grove.
shit are they doing?
What freak shit are you doing? You know?
And getting away with.
Yeah, when you're on a $500 million yacht every weekend and you're just fucking balling all over the world, hanging out with your other balling all over the world buddies doing freak shit,
Yep.
staying in the club together, hunting people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Freaky.
Freaky. Yeah.
So anyway, background, small South Appalachian Baptist church. My dad's a deacon at the church. My sister is married somebody who's a pastor, and she moved to France, Montpellier, and she's a missionary there. So all the basic Christian education, I got it.
But no one you know has had conversations with the devil, right?
No, not really.
No, but people, I bet you've talked to people that said God has talked to them.
I don't know. My dad would never say God talked with me directly. Said,
Some people
he reads
would,
the
though.
Bible.
It's not an uncommon thing, though, right?
No, but my background or the church I grew up in and my mom and dad are pretty strict. Like Pastor Walter growing up, that guy was a logger. This was a small little town.
That's a cool story.
And he had, I'm not kidding, he had a scar from here down through his jaw to here, a chainsaw jumped back and went, cut him right through the face. That's a man. That's a manly man right there.
It's like a Ted the Atlas scar.
Took himself to the hospital.
Fuck yeah, he
with
did.
a towel on the side or a shirt on the side of his face.
Of course he did.
Yes, he did.
Probably would have fucking stapled it
And
shut if he had a stapler in the car.
and he was the nicest, pleasant, like, hi, good afternoon.
Yeah,
he
guy's
wasn't
seen
like,
some shit.
oh my
He
goodness.
doesn't have to convince you.
So everything, it was real simple. Here's a good book, read it. If it says yes, do it. If it says no, don't. That's
Right.
all. There's no pomp and circumstance.
Right.
There's no
That's your
robes. There's
childhood.
no real simple, real straightforward. But my dad would be interested, and he'll be listening to this. So he would be interested in your thing of if the end times doesn't come, and Satan can say, "Hey, guess what I can do?"
But here's the thought:
Would somebody take that?
if Satan really was clever,
Oh, if he's real,
if he's real,
he is the prince and power of the air. He
Right.
is the great deceiver. He's very clever.
right? But if Satan is a real thing, what a genius thing to make it ridiculous to believe in him. What a genius thing to make it so that even saying you've communicated with Satan or saying that
You sound like a loon.
You sound like a loon. Mm-hmm.
Because if you
we were just
negate
talking about this the
him-
other night. I said that if the president said God is with our troops, we would say awesome. But if the president said we've located the devil, he's in Afghanistan, and we're beginning bombing,
He'd be in
you'd
that
be
job.
like, what? What the fuck did you
And you're
just
right
say?
about genius, because if you're ridiculed or look like a loon for believing in Satan, then by default you're a loon for believing in God. So he's done his job by negating everything.
Well, sort of.
Well, to
because
a point,
a lot of
'cause
people
they're
that
both in
believe
the
in
same.
God,
They're both in the same book.
they believe in Satan as a concept. I think it's like there's like a graph.
True.
Of people that, like, if you had a pie chart of all the people that believe in God, right?
Sure.
It's
Or the entity
the
of
ones
God.
that think that Satan's a real thing is
Right.
probably like a quarter of the pie.
And if they read, again, not some weird crazy, but just the plain Jane Bible,
Right.
Satan was the number one angel. He was
Yeah.
number two in charge. He was the big cheese and said, I want to have everything. And God was like, not going to happen.
Yeah. But isn't that always like even in the mob? Doesn't
Yes.
that kind of thing happen?
Number two tries harder,
tries
doesn't
to kill
he?
number one.
Yeah.
When they killed Paul Castellano in front of Sparks Steakhouse in New York City.
Is that the shot you have right there in the hall?
No, what do we
What
have
shot
in the
is
hall?
that?
Oh, that's Jack Ruby shooting Lee Harvey Oswald.
That's right. That's
yeah,
it.
that's a different one.
Yep. Yeah. So in my area around me, there's a lot of Italian. Growing up, lots of Italian.
Right.
So I got good food,
There you go.
really good food. But so
They know how to eat. I'll tell you that. If
God
you want to eat
dang.
for pleasure, the Italians got it nailed.
Yeah, they do.
They do. What's
Yummy.
crazy is the difference between their food here and their food in Italy. It's like
It's gone its own shoot.
yeah, but that's not what I mean. I mean in terms of like what it does to your body. Like, I would really like some fucking science to be done on it. Like what is happening? You go to Italy, you eat their pasta, you don't feel bad at all. You come to America, you feel like you ate a bowl of glue. It's just, I'm like, oh my God, I can't move.
A bowl of glue,
I
sir.
can't move. There's something about their bread, it's different. Apparently they have heirloom wheat. They have different wheat before we start fucking with it. We should unfuck the wheat, kids. Because I know it's like higher yield.
Joe
but
Rogan's new Unfunk the Wheat
this is
program.
what I think. But, there's also some people that believe that one of the things that we're experiencing when people have like gluten intolerance is an intolerance to wheat is actually, you might be getting glyphosate from it. This is a highly speculative theory, but they've tested people and they found out that, what was it, Jamie? Like 94% of people have glyphosate in their body. And glyphosate is toxic. It's an herbicide? Yeah, it's an herbicide.
Is it
And-
because what we do to plant and grow wheat?
Yes. Well, we grow corn. Monsanto created it, and they created a corn that is immune to it. So you eat like this Monsanto corn, and they can spray glyphosate on it, and it kills everything else. It kills all the bad weeds, and you just get the nice corn.
Okay.
The problem is that stuff gets in everyone's body in some small amount, and the question is like, is your body able to filter out the amount that it has in it? Like, what's the toxic level? Are we below the fear? Is it fear mongering? Because like, there's a certain amount of metals that you're going to get just from eating sushi. If you get some salmon or some tuna rather from the Pacific Ocean, there's real high possibility that you could get mercury in it, some amount, right? Isn't it like, what's
Sure.
the prevalence of toxic metals in tuna? Let's just guess. Because I think, I have a friend, I don't want to mention his name, but he's brilliant. And he won't eat fish from the Pacific anymore. And I said, why? And he said, Fukushima. He said they're literally dumping this nuclear water into the ocean. And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what effect this is going to have. We don't know the ocean's just going to easily absorb it or whether it's going to kill fish. We don't know if it's going to contaminate them, if they're going to have levels of radiation. He was freaking me out.
Oh, boy.
And he's a lot smarter than me.
Oh, well. So you're an honest man.
And he doesn't fucking eat fish from the Pacific anymore. I'm like, whoa, is that valid? So what's the, first of all, let's look at, first one is tuna. Are there high levels of mercury in tuna?
Yeah, so you could get mercury poisoning from one serving. Sorry, let me rephrase that. The amount of mercury you're allowed to have in a week, you could get in one serving of tuna.
Jesus. So if you're eating sushi every day, because I've heard of people actually getting sick from eating sushi every day. Like they literally get mercury poisoning. Yeah.
Oh. Not good.
No. What is that shit that I had?
Arsenic?
Yes. I was eating sardines like every day. I love sardines.
Okay.
I love them. So I'd eat like 3 cans of sardines a day. And I go to my doctor. I get my blood work done. He goes, he goes, you have arsenic in your body.
Arsenic.
Arsenic. Yeah. Trace levels of arsenic. And I said, how much? Like someone's trying to poison me? He goes, I don't think so. He goes, are you eating a lot of seafood? I go, I eat 3 cans of sardines a day. He goes, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't
and
do
he
that.
explains to me that these are bottom feeders and that they live a lot of times in areas that are polluted by humans. So we fucking polluted the ocean to the point where if you eat too much fish, you get sick. You know, all
Great.
these people that are worried about the weather warming up and climate change, what are we doing to the ocean? What are we doing? I mean, what's the number in terms of depopulation? How much fish are missing from the ocean than
I think
50
a large
years ago?
amount.
Let's ask the population, the fish population in the ocean now versus 50 years ago. Let's find that out. Let's guess. Before you give me the answer. Let's guess. How much of the ocean's fish has been depleted in the last 50 years? I'm going to say 50%. No, I'm going to say 70%. 70%.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to say 70%.
I was at like 45.
That's
maybe
probably reasonable.
50.
I might be fear-mongering. Let's find out.
Fear mongering.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Oh, good. Okay.
Not a lot.
You're not massively
No.
mongering.
Like you play cornhole at the beach. I'm not like a cornhole player, right? I played it a few times at the beach with my kids. You know what I mean? It's on ESPN now. I guess it's a legit sport.
Oh dear.
So, Jamie, what was your guess?
Help us all.
I didn't. I was trying. There's too many questions I have before I could give you a good guess because it's already a strange. Like, how are they going to measure that in 1950? And
Good
even
question.
now, how would you know how many fucking fish there are?
Very good question. Very good question.
More
Especially
than 6.
Yeah, especially when there's more than 6 fish.
Yes.
Especially when you account for the fact that we haven't really explored most of the ocean.
So how they measure
we don't
it
know
is based off
anything.
of how much they're pulling out. So
Right.
They measure how much they've taken in for
How
the
much
year.
they've murdered? So what's the
Yay!
estimates in
For mass
terms
murder.
of the mass
It
that's
says in
down?
1950, total catch of fish in the ocean was an estimated 18.5 million metric tons. Now, a half century later, it says 73.5 million metric
Wow,
tons.
that's an
400% increase.
That's an increase.
But another guy says that 90% of all large fish have been removed from the ocean since 1950. And I don't know, like, how
would he know?
that?
Yeah.
Click on his. Put it up there. Let's see what it
Yeah,
says.
well,
That sounds interesting because that sounds crazy. 90%? Clover popularizes the work of fishery scientists such as Daniel Pauly, a marine biologist at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada, who have pieced together a picture of imminent catastrophe in the global ocean. Among the first to recognize that fisheries catch rates were in decline worldwide, Pauly discovered in 2001 that the phenomenon had previously gone unnoticed owing to systematic distortions in catch trends that were skewed by incorrect reports from countries with big fisheries. In 2003, Boris Worm and Ransom Myers of Dalhousie
Sure.
University in Halifax, Nova Scotia, reported that 90% of all large fish, including tuna, swordfish, and marlin and cod, had been removed from the ocean since 1950. Holy shit. Holy shit. The end of the line is informative. Is that a book you wrote? The end of the line? Clover's reporting reveals that bluefin tuna, the endangered species with perhaps the most alarming plight in the ocean, is allegedly being bought and frozen in bulk by major corporations. Once ocean supplies run dry, the frozen fish can be sold at sky-high prices. So they're freezing tuna in bulk because they anticipate they're going to run dry? That's wild. They're stockpiling it like they do diamonds. Clover's portrayal of the global fisheries problem falls down on 2 counts: oversimplification and polarization. Although current fisheries policy is inadequate, much of it's based on science. Okay. Clover suggests, where have we heard that before?
Right.
Clover suggests, for example, that the practice of discarding, by which some 7 million tons of caught fish are thrown back into the sea each year, has arisen because fishermen simply do not want the species they have caught, but wasteful discarding is more often the consequence of a fisheries policy that is designed to prevent fishermen targeting juveniles and species outside of their allotted quota. Well, that makes sense, because they killed fish and then they have to throw some of them back in the water because they killed fish that were too small. But that's because it's indiscriminate. They're still killing them, if that's what they're saying. Clover is quick to point out the culprits of the fisheries crisis: slippery politicians, greedy fishermen, and thoughtless consumers in big businesses, while making activists and scientists the stars of the show. But in adopting a tone of advocacy with its inherent moralism, Clover isolates viewers and misses an opportunity to place this problem in context. It still seems like there's a problem. They're just kind of like making it look pretty. Over-exploitation of fisheries is one part of the huge dilemma that humans face in an increasingly resource-limited world. We can seek sustainability, but we will not be able to diversify our consumption indefinitely, and climate change will decrease marine resources further. So you always have to bring it back to climate change. If you don't, people won't take you seriously. Those most affected will be the fisher folk of developing countries who... Fisher folk?
Fisher folk.
Why do I hate that term? who make up 98% of people who are directly dependent on fisheries for their livelihood.
Because it's not fishermen.
Yeah, it's fisher folk, bro.
It's fisher
How many
folk.
non-binary fishermen are there out there? That's what I want to know. That
gonna
might
go
be
back
the
to
lowest
6.
population of non-binary humans in groups on Earth. Fishermen.
No, fisher folk.
Fisher folk. They don't want to fucking hear any of that.
Fisher folk.
All those people that are risking their lives to get you crab.
Doesn't even sound like a real word. Sounds like something out of a cartoon. Fisher folk.
It sounds like something they say on The Hobbit.
Sure.
You know?
Fisher folk.
We're going to visit the fisher folk. Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's what it is.
Oh.
Those guys that fucking risk their lives to get you the crabs. You ever watch that show?
Oh, the deadliest catch.
I mean, the crabs are great, but Jesus Christ, boys.
That's a lot of work.
Fucking scary job, but it must be thrilling as fuck.
Yeah, I'm not into getting grabbed by a wave and thrown over the side in Arctic waters.
My friend Clay Guida did it for a little while. I think he did it for the adventure, too, but he's crazy. He's a UFC fighter.
But
he's out of his mind.
But he's crazy. So.
Yeah, he's a wild man. But, that's the kind of guy who would, take a ride on one of them boats and go get some crabs.
Yeah,
they pay you a lot of money, though.
And they probably should.
I think they have to, because people die.
Because it's crazy.
You fall in that water, you're fucksville.
Yep.
That's not good.
Yep.
And that thing's sloshing all over the place.
I don't think I can handle that.
You have to sleep in that fucking thing.
No.
And they go out for a long time.
It's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Well, thank God you can fucking turn a wrench, sir.
So I was going to springboard off of Appalachian, because that's from whence I came.
You know how to stay on track. I love it.
So how I came to be here with you, backtracking to shop, backtracking from California, starting in New York in our pre-mentioned Appalachian. By the way, Appalachian, weird, stupid background. Appalachian and Appalachian. The only difference is the amount of P's in the name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one has more P's?
Appalachian.
Okay.
Mine is APALACHIN.
That must be annoying that people confuse those two with you, and you have to explain it every goddamn time.
I try to stay away from it.
Yeah. Just say small town New York.
Yeah, right. It's easier. Right. So I'm tinkering on cars in Appalachian. I'm spending most of my time on stage playing. Cars were my drop-dead hobby. Loved it. At night, backstage, I'd be reading my new issue of Hot Rod in my little glass of ice water. Couldn't wait for my new issue. And I'd go to as many car shows as I could go to during the summer. And the quick version is a real good friend of mine, Sean Davis from Canada, said, hey, we're going to go to this show up in Rhinebeck, New York. And there's going to be a guy there we're going to meet. I met him at a big show in Indy, and he's going to make me a billet steering wheel to match my Boyd wheels. This is where all the car guys can pay attention. And so we went to the said show, met this guy, Jim, wound up going to dinner with him. And the guy's like, I'm a machinist. I got a place in Riverside, California. I should be back there making parts. I need somebody to go around the country and sell this stuff. And Sean goes, slaps me on the back, goes, greatest salesman right here. And I'm like, what? And that turned into a conversation. And it turned into me not letting go of it. Sold everything I had, moved, got out here to Riverside, got there. Guy had already been evicted out of his apartment. So I've got nowhere to live. I'm now living at one of his employees' houses.
Oh, boy.
And we're working along. Been there about a month or so. And the federal marshals show up. They're not in a good mood. At all.
What are they looking for?
I don't know, but I'm like, here's my driver's license. I just got here.
What kind of questions are they asking?
They are not asking me shit. They're walking around with clipboards and looking at what I thought, because I stayed away from it, I thought they were checking serial numbers on the CNC machines.
Oh.
That's what I thought. I have no proof.
I understand.
What
So
do I
they
know?
thought maybe there was some stolen machinery.
Well, something, because federal
Right.
marshals don't come out for
a
party. So anyway.
How's that turn out?
I'm like, oh, God, no, I'm not going to have any job. I don't know anybody out here. And this is not a car shop. They're just machining billet street rod parts. They do have one car there, a 40 Ford, which is owned by one of the guys that own TCI, Total Cost Involved, street rod place. And the one of the workers for TCI comes down once a week to check on the car because we're one-off in parts for him, right? So I know that guy. So we're getting our parts ready. We're going to be going to the LA Roadster show, Father's Day show in Pomona. And we're going to sell our stuff. So I'm setting up on Thursday. And this guy, the only guy I know, besides the two other machinists, goes, hey, man, you going to come to our annual open house tonight? And I'm like, well, I got no money. I live way down in Riverside, or Oceanside, actually. But I'd love to go. I've read about it every year in Street Rodder magazine. So I go to the party. And I'm like, hey, man, you know anybody hiring? And he goes, kind of hard, man. Somebody's got to know you or have some background, some history, something, And I'm like, well, I'm just throwing it out there. So I drive all the way to Oceanside, get a couple hours sleep, drive all the way back to Pomona. And the next morning he goes, hey, come here. You know what? He goes, 10 minutes after you left last night, a guy named Gary Daigle said he was looking for someone to work in his shop. He's in Orange County. And I go, I actually know the name from our list. He sells our stuff. And he goes, well, he's 2 aisles down. Take a right, go up there. You'll see a sign, Daigle's. So I went and talked with Gary Daigle, and he goes, well, you're on Jim's dime right now. Lunchtime, meet me outside, and we'll talk. So we talked, set up for a job, talked about having a job on Monday. So Sunday night, we're back at show's over with. I'm putting parts back on the shelf, and I still remember – because the place had half the lights working, dimly lit. I see Jim come around the corner going, you might start looking for some work. So now I don't have to ask off for Monday. Went and had the meeting with Gary, got hired. And so I timed it. I flew home, got my 67 El Camino that I built in my dad's barn in my aunt's garage, and timed it that I stopped at the Hot Rod Magazine Super Nationals in Ohio. And editor Jeff Smith and Rob Canan approached me and said, we'd like to feature your car in Hot Rod Magazine. And I went, well, okay. But I got to go unload everything because every earthly possession I have is in it. So I drove it back to the hotel, unloaded everything, and brought it back.
Do you have a picture of that car?
Yeah, I actually gave him, I came with a thumb drive of a whole bunch of stuff just in case we talked about it.
Prepared.
I did prepare, sir.
Let me see the 67.
It's the bright orange El Camino. So when I got here to California, then Custom Classic Truck and Custom Rodder featured it also.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, New Street.
That's pretty.
Yeah, so I built that.
So what year is this we're looking at?
1995.
Wow. That's a beautiful car,
Yeah,
man.
built it at home. And so,
And then you drove it across the country.
yeah, I drove it across country.
Wow. What was in that thing?
Stroker 355. It was a Stroker small block, but it get going just fine.
It's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
I usually don't like El Caminos.
Yeah, I
They're
like
so
them
weird.
for some. Yeah, they're
It's
so weird.
It's like, why is there like this open spot in the back that just catches air?
Those El Caminos are station wagons with the top pulled off. The floor pan, but on the in the bed,
same frame.
at the very front of the bed where it kisses the back of the cab, they have a bolt-in piece of metal. When you take that out, that's the floor pan for the rear seat in the station wagon.
Ah, wow.
So it's a station wagon with the back taken off and a bed put
It's
in.
just like, who was like, I want a car, but I also want a pickup
I
truck.
want a Trar.
That kind of stopped happening. They gave up on
Yeah,
that.
they did. By the
Like if they
by
try
the-
to bring back the El Camino today, people are like, what the fuck are you doing with
the
this thing?
GM still had one for a while down in Australia.
They did?
Yeah, they had like
Up
they
until
call
when?
it a Ute. You base it off of the Mondeo, which was like their GTO, the Chevelle. They had it for a while.
Really?
Yeah, and
They like different stuff down there, though.
they do. They
Australia has different tastes. They love, they like a lot of utility.
Yeah, there you go.
vehicles. Oh, God.
do.
That looks really recent.
I love his reaction. Oh God!
Well, a lot of those folks, they like to fucking Crocodile Dundee it up and go out in the backwoods. You know, they need something to throw a fucking tent.
Well, those things are built though. The motor and the drivetrain are basically
That's
Camaro.
crazy. That's crazy. Actually, now I'm changing my mind. That might have made it in America. People
Yeah.
would have bought that. There's some knuckleheads that would have bought that.
Some knuckle. That's
Yeah.
nice.
I'm being honest.
So
You have to be a knucklehead to choose that.
So I get out
Not
here.
that that's a bad thing. Some of my favorite people are knuckleheads. Yeah, but if you're like, if you have to choose that between that or a new Mustang, like the fuck are you doing?
Well, you could throw stuff in the back.
So what?
So,
Get a U-Haul. Get the Mustang. Shut the fuck up.
I don't know.
There's no ifs, ands, or
We're
buts.
bringing it back.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Mustang's one of the few cars that kept it together. Like, they lost it for a long time, but they got it back, and now they're better than ever. Like, these new Mustangs they're putting out today, they're fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah.
They're great cars.
Brutal.
That new one, the Dark Horse, that's a fucking great car. Mm-hmm. Right from the factory, 6-speed, 500 horsepower, reasonably priced,
Yep.
looks fucking great.
Yeah.
They're making like real muscle cars, but like modern muscle cars today.
Heck yeah.
It's nice that that's still going on.
Yes, I agree. I seem to be a proponent for that. You know.
Yeah, it's just like people forgot the American muscle car is one of the most fun things to drive ever.
Sure.
It might not handle the best, it might not be the fastest, it might not this, it might not that, but it's what it does to you, like how it makes you feel when you drive it.
They're very visceral.
Yes.
It's very visceral.
It's very exciting.
Yes,
It's
it
like
is.
it stimulates you. It's whoomba.
Yeah. That's why I
It's
like driving them
alive.
cross country.
Yeah.
It's fun. Window down, arm out.
Yeah, they're alive. You're in a
Yep, you're
goddamn
alive.
Matthew McConaughey movie.
Yeah.
You're alive.
So I get here and I wind up staying, working for Gary Daigle, and the car gets in a bunch of magazines. I wind up moving from the Orange County area up to Studio City, join a new band, start recording an album, and I sell my El Camino to a kid in Japan, and I'm like, I got to do a cool car. So I went down. It's still there on the corner of Ventura Boulevard. And
Someone in Japan bought it?
yeah.
That's awesome. So now it's over in Tokyo? Do you
Somewhere.
know? Do you ever keep an eye on it?
No, I don't know where it went. That was a while ago.
Maybe someone will reach out.
Maybe. So on the corner of Laurel Canyon and Ventura Boulevard, down in Studio City, there right now it's still a FedEx office, but it was a Kinko's. The Kinko's was where Pure Vision begat. I was there photocopying my magazine features, and I had my friend Matt Willoughby in Ohio draw this idea of this 66 Charger that was called Scully, because that's what the pros do. They had artwork first.
Right.
And I went to Hot Rod and said, hey, you guys thought I was cool before. I built a car that you featured, and I'm going to build this thing, and I'm going to show up on your power tour, right? And I'm going to use these parts of all these people that sponsor your power tour.
Is that you as a young man? Is that this voice that you're
Yeah,
doing?
who knows? Or an idiot, whatever I am.
Okay.
So I go over to all the potential sponsors. All right, I'll sound more official.
No, just
I
be
go,
yourself.
go over all the sponsor potential guys and go, hey, I had to mail. There was no email. So I mailed these packets of color photocopies of my El Camino that's been in the prior magazines, proving like, hey, I've done it once, and going, hey, my proposal is I'm going to build this car, and I'm going to take it on the power tour that you are sponsoring. So basically, they sponsored me with some parts, and they ran the artwork of my car, and I built it in my shared tandem parking garage, underground parking garage at my apartment on Whitsett Avenue, which is where Whitsett crashes into Ventura Boulevard. Built it there.
So you built it in a
Parking garage.
You
A lot
shared
of
with
it.
other people? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, I would go to the junkyard, get the parts, like, example.
How big is this? Is a 2-car garage?
No, it's an underground parking garage.
Like, how many people are parked in that garage?
Well, it's tandem 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And you have just
20.
one spot.
Yeah.
And in that one spot, you're building a car.
Right, pretty much.
And so there's a car right next to you while you're building this car?
Right.
So you're pulling fenders off and
I'm
shit.
doing
There's a car right there?
A lot of stuff was done in that garage. Yes,
That's
also-
crazy.
I also
would
got
never
the-
park next to you.
Right. Well, I am wonderfully respectful.
I'm sure. But who the fuck is going to park next to the guy who's building a car?
They don't know. It's
don't know.
covered all day. I work at night. So I'll give you an example of what I did.
Okay.
Went to the junkyard for the front end swap pieces to convert it to disc brakes, right? Because I know the swaps and all that stuff. So I get all those parts, and out the back of the apartment building, there's a concrete slab, and that's it. There was like a really bad table and a chair. Nobody ever sits there. So I found the one outside the building electric outlet. Bought 2 extension cords to go, because it's all the way on the other side of the building, wrap it around the building. And I got a drill and a wire wheel on it and a screwdriver, and I scraped all the old muck and then wire wheeled them to bare metal, all the parts. And then I went to the...
Did you have goggles on back then?
Yeah.
So you're in the
Probably.
garage.
I'm not in the garage. I'm out back
Okay.
of the building now,
Okay.
grinding
Oh,
everything
okay.
clean,
Right.
and then wiped everything with acetone. And then at night, about 2 a.m, I went to the like Home Depot, and you know those pieces of plastic you can buy there for when you paint a room. It's like 12 foot by 15 foot, whatever.
Yeah.
Covered everybody's cars.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then I hung all the parts on the
Imagine
water
coming
pipes.
out like you want to
No.
go to your friend's house at 3 a.m.
I
You go
hung,
downstairs, your car's covered with plastic, and this fucking lunatic.
I covered all the cars so no one would get any paint on it, and epoxy painted all the suspension parts. I hung them from the water pipes.
Oh my God.
And then I'd assemble the car. Now,
And so when did you get done? When did you,
I
when
got
did
it-
you
I
like
got it-
stop at like 6:30 in the morning? Like
yeah,
when did
or
you-
whenever. Yeah, just when. Yeah.
Did anybody ever come out and see their car covered in plastic?
No, I always removed all the evidence. No one
Jeez.
ever knew
How
nothing.
many nights a week did you have people's
I do
cars
it
covered in plastic?
All the time.
That is so wild.
So all the time.
That's so wild.
And so I had another friend that I did exchange work. He painted it for me and let me use his place for reassembly. And I rebuilt the suspension and the engine in his '67 pickup truck for an exchange. Right.
Yeah.
So I get the car ready, take it to the kickoff party for the power tour. We're going to drive from California to Michigan, and I haven't even changed the cam brake-in oil yet. This car is fresh, and I'm going to drive it to, which I did, by the way. So kickoff party, what begat from that is Hot Rod Magazine featured it, Mopar Muscle featured it, put it on the cover, Daytona Magazine Japan featured it.
There it is.
And at the end of the year, yeah, there's Scully. That's
That's
a
beautiful.
photo shoot. It's a kind of an odd black and white, but it's a Jaguar color called Topaz.
Yeah, it's like a blue, right?
No, it's a light silvery gold. Oh, it's
Topaz is
on that
like a
thumb
blue?
drive I
Oh,
gave
there
you.
it is right there.
Yeah, there it is.
Why do I think Topaz? Oh, I'm thinking of.
So that's the car I built in the underground parking garage.
God, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it came out nice. And
Oh
so
my God, that's gorgeous.
at the end of the year, it also got top 10 car of the year.
And you built
with
it
Hot
in
Rod.
a fucking garage
Yeah.
with a bunch of cars covered in
You
plastic.
know what?
Dude, that's
It's
beautiful.
when you want to bad enough.
Yeah. Look
You know
how
what I mean?
beautiful that car is.
Yep, pretty car.
God, that's so nice.
And so that started the ball. Well, the El Camino technically did, but
What a beautiful car that is, man.
So
you got
I-
other pictures of that?
yeah, there's some other stuff up over there.
Click on that link that says Pure Vision Scully right under the big picture. Right there.
Oh, that's the graphic I designed. Now that stupid skull right there has a story. So I designed this pinstripe. I wanted bone, red bone, and then at the very front, obviously, the bone turns into the skull with wraparound glasses. And
With a cigarette in his mouth.
Every one of those dang stitches are hand drawn. I did, in fact, that side's me.
You did
I did the
that?
driver's side. No, my friend Matt Wilby. Here's the backstory. Okay. So I told him, I go, here's the idea. I gave this really horrible sketch of this skull with his wraparound sunglasses, and he did this piece of artwork for me with the car and the skull. And when he sent the artwork, I'm like, that's not the skull. Well, he faxed it to me, the idea, like his version of what I was telling him.
Okay.
And the fax was like, it's that stretched and cool as shit, right? Thin and pulled. So anyway,
so the fax fucked it up better.
the fax pulled it.
That's amazing.
So when he flew out to put it on, I showed him the fax, and he went, "Oh my God, the fax must have dragged."
Because
so-
that looks almost like a wolf.
Yeah, kind of. It was a
Yeah.
mistake.
Like if that was a dude, I'd be terrified of him.
Right. It was a mistake, and I said, "Well, that's what we're using." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, hell yeah, we are."
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
So we did that graphic.
Can you show me a photograph of what that looks like in perspective with the rest of the car?
Well, if you
Click on that link where you're at.
just the front 3/4, not that one, just the one right next to it on the. Nope, other. To the right.
To the right.
Yep,
right there.
that.
Yeah.
You'll see it. It's up at the very front of the front fender. It's right in the front corner. It's right there.
Oh, right there. Show me the close-up on it, Jamie, because there's a close-up in one of those other photos. That right there. Oh, that's so sick.
So all the way down the car, it's just a red bone pinstripe with all those hand stitches. So that's Matt's stitches. We only had so long. We were doing the graphic overnight at a borrowed paint booth.
That car is so rock and roll.
So yeah, just carbureted 360 out of a Cordoba
That is
with a
that-
warmed up cam and stuff, but straightforward.
That car is like a 1974 AC/DC song. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at that thing. God
they're
damn, that's
neat.
pretty.
And
look
the-
how pretty that is.
And the interior's 4 bucket seats and a console
go
that
back,
goes all the way
go back
from
to
the
the
beginning
rear
to
end
the
view
end.
of it. Look at that.
Yeah, cool car. They only made them 2 years, 66 and 67.
God, it's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, it's neat.
It's
Big car.
gorgeous. I don't think I've seen one. I've definitely not seen one.
Very
done
few
like
and far
this.
between. That's why I did it.
It's a perfect car to do it with because it's so pretty, man.
Yeah.
The back end of that is just fucking heavenly.
Yeah, it's cool. They're
Look
neat.
at it.
I enjoy them, and so that was a lot of fun. And then on that power tour, I met a kid named Martin Weinreb who had a black Challenger, and I go, "I got an idea for your car." And then we built the car in his driveway, and it was called Challenger X. And that was I was the first guys doing any pro touring Mopars, and this Challenger X was the first car to have that I knew of, street driven, carbon fiber drive shaft. It was like the second set of big 18-inch torque thrusts. We worked with a guy named Craig Rails back at BDS for the an 8-stack EFI injection on a small block Chrysler, and that'll be on that thumb drive I gave you. It's called Challenger X.
Right
It's
there.
a black Challenger. Yeah. So that car, we took that on a power tour from here to Florida and back, and there it
that
is.
is.
Yeah, pretty car.
That's another car, the Challenger.
Yep, that came out nice.
That's a 70, right?
72.
72, really?
I did the whole interior in a tan, and we built that in Martin's driveway.
So 72 Challengers are still dope. 72
Yeah, they're the same
Barracudas-
as 70. It's just different bumper.
But 72 Barracudas got goofy. Mm-hmm. You know, they
Yeah,
started
yeah,
looking
yeah.
goofy.
Yeah,
but
Challengers
the
are
72
nice
Challenger
looking.
still
Yep.
looks sick.
Yeah, I did all the gauges and tan and did this whole thing in here. So anyway, this car, we drive it, and it gets features, and it gets top 10 car of the year. So I've got 2 top 10 cars of the year and like 9 or 10 features, and I don't even have a shop yet. I've been building out of a barn, out of a tandem parking garage, and somebody's driveway. So my batting average is doing pretty good.
So you
right?
get a place.
Yeah, I finally get a place and build a couple of other stuff, and I started on a Duster, which we call Dustia, which was I kept the Duster lettering but made it Dustia. Put that on the power tour, and that car exploded. It was
Let me see that because like
was-
we were talking about it earlier. I like a Duster.
yeah. This is a really nice
It's an
one.
underappreciated car.
Yep, and
What
they're
year
light.
was this Duster?
That was a 72,
Yeah, okay. So those are the years that were underappreciated.
and we built that, and I drove that again from California to Michigan.
Is that in your photos?
Yeah, no, it's on the thumb drive. It's a bright oak score. There's the Duster.
Yeah.
Duster.
Underappreciated car.
So that thing had
Let
a
me see some
lot
other
of
pictures of that.
a lot of trick stuff that nobody had ever done yet on Mopar suspensions. And
what did you do to it?
Well,
So that's a really lightweight car, right? Like, what does that weigh?
Oh, probably 36 or 34.
Wow.
But
So it's small.
Yep. So
Smaller than like a 65 Mustang? Like, is it in the
no,
same?
not smaller than a Mustang. Nope, but light. There's not a lot to them. So that car, like, again, I'm so fortunate. Hot Rod, Mopar Muscle, all these books. It's cover, it's centerfold pull-out poster, it's a screensaver because that just started. It's a die-cast car. It's top 10 car of the year. So now I got 3. You know, it's been amazing, and again, so unbelievably fortunate that.
You're talented, man. You keep saying fortunate.
But you know what?
I mean, it is
I'm
certainly
surrounded,
fortunate, but it's also hard work, man.
It is hard work. So at that point, I was living in the shop. I didn't have money for an apartment. So my bed was next to my lift, and I had a piece of plastic that I threw over the bed so the rust and oil and everything else wouldn't get on my bed. And then I joined a 24-hour fitness so I had somewhere to shower.
Wow. How many people have done that? A lot.
Yeah, well,
A lot.
I don't know if they're as stupid as me, but I did it.
No, a lot of people do that when they're living out of their cars. A lot of comedians did that. Got a membership at 24 Hour Fitness, slept in their car.
Yeah, well, I was sleeping in the shop.
Yeah.
So that car really launched stuff, and I got a phone call. That car, by the way, Reggie Jackson still owns it. He bought it off the guy who built it from. He still owns it.
Reggie Jackson might be like the biggest hot rod collector ever.
He lost a lot in a fire about 20 years ago.
Oh,
lost buildings worth.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So anyway, the guy that I built that car for, Romeo Furio, that's his real name, he wanted to do another car. And I just came back from showering with 30 strangers at 24-Hour Fitness. And I'm having my bowl of Cheerios, and my phone rings, and it's this gentleman named David Hakeem and a couple of other bigwig gentlemen from Mopar Performance from Chrysler. And they're like, we've been watching what you've been doing. We want to be synonymous with Pure Vision. Here's the catalog. Next time you build something, whatever you want, let us know.
That's awesome.
And we built a car, or I built a car. I was still basically alone, called GTXR. I had a fantastic painter named Russ Stevenson that put up with me at that time. Now I have Mick Jenkins, who is just beyond incredible. We'll get to that in a second. But on GTXR, I wanted to use the big body satellite that nobody ever uses and nobody likes.
Can I see what that looks like?
And they're very swoopy like Ferraris. They go like they're Coke bottled, but the way they sat stock is they look like an elephant on stilts. There you go.
Oh, that's a cool car.
So this was my first time ever at SEMA.
Is that an AMG? Is that what that is?
No, it's a Plymouth satellite.
That's a Plymouth.
Yeah. So I
God, that's a wild looking car.
yeah, right? They're
You don't see very many of those
No,
either.
they're very because no one cared and these things were so curvy. I got a great story about
But it's so cool
that
looking.
shot, the Mopar, the one with the blue sky behind it.
With the blue sky, Jamie.
You're right in the middle almost.
The photo with the blue sky? No, right there.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So, so I'm getting ready. I'm thrashing to get the thing done to go to SEMA. I've never been to SEMA before, and I'm unveiling the car in Chrysler's booth on a turntable. Right.
How pretty that is.
First time there. So this is like just cracking 6 a.m. We had already driven in the truck and trailer,
What year is this?
When did I do that? Hold on. That's why I have my notes.
Just take a guess.
Oh, God. Why?
I like how you went with the fat tires in the rear.
2003.
I get really sad when I see a muscle car with skinny rear tires.
Oh, no. Always big old tire.
Yeah.
So this is when you're coming down the grade into Vegas, and before there was nothing over to the right. Now it's all houses and everything all the way to Henderson.
Right.
Before there was nothing there. This is when the roads were paved and there wasn't one building put up. And the photographer is in a ditch that is like 5 feet deep for what will be the plumbing and all that stuff.
Oh.
And he's sitting there. His name was Randy Bullock, and I remember him because, again, no digital cameras. It was, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, like how he did that? So it almost sounded like it. No, it was horrible. Okay. Anyway, I hear him go, cover. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So that car was the world's first paddle shifted muscle car. I created the paddle shifts in it.
Oh, wow.
At that
Let me
time,
see the interior.
there's one shot that I put on the thumb drive. Again, I don't know if you have that in, but there's an interior shot of the steering wheel.
What kind of transmission?
At the time, there was the brand new truck 518 four-speed overdrive that was in the brand new pickup trucks for 2002, 2003. Overdrive was becoming a new thing. So there you go. So I had a really amazing billet guy. He did the intakes on that. We'll look at the motor in a second. And those paddles, I made everything out of wood first, and those work micro switches inside the column, the factory column. And underneath, see how there's 3 horn buttons, the little pads? Underneath the right one up at 3 o'clock, there's a micro switch under that now. And so I used a company called Bear that made pneumatic shifters for drag racing. Okay?
Okay.
It goes, it immediately shifts it. It's hooked up to a computer. So all I did, and it's air. Like the CO2 guns, that air cartridge.
Yeah.
One of those are in the trunk. And it runs this solenoid that is attached to a B&M ratchet shifter. So you can never skip a gear, right? Bam, bam, bam.
Mm-hmm.
And they are hooked up. So shift up, pulls back. I called Bear and I said, can you make me one that pushes and pulls? They're like, sure. So upshift, downshift.
Wow.
And then this button under the horn, I use the horn circuit. That turns the overdrive on and off. So you're up highway, second, third, overdrive, or second in the canyon, second.
So
down.
where's the horn now?
There's no horn. Fuck the horn.
You gave up the horn?
Yeah, nobody cared. But so I had like every executive, because the shifter moves while you're hitting the paddles, because the ratchets, because the CO2 is working it.
Right.
It's the end of the first day. We had to go refill the bottle, which was like at that point 75 cents. It's good for about 200 shifts. But it was fully functioning and working and worked fantastic. And it was actually foolproof because even if you ran out of CO2, you just grab shifter, put it in drive, and drive it around.
Right. So it only applied to when you wanted to.
Yeah, when you wanted
shifters.
to. Yeah, but it worked really good. The problem was nobody had a shift kit. So the transmission couldn't shift as fast as, because I'd turn the wick up, turn the pressure up, and it would go bam, bam. I mean, it'd shift right freaking now. And then the transmission would be like,
It just died.
Yeah, well, no, it'd catch up eventually, but then places like Fairbanks and other companies started making shift kits. So
Yeah, you don't make normal cars. You really overcomplicate your life.
yeah,
By doing things
you
like
think?
that. Yeah.
So you move forward from that car, and then I built a car called Hammer, and that was a Roadrunner.
That was the first one I saw.
Yeah, and Hammer was in it was in the same. It was a season later on Rides. They followed me building my car like they followed Sickfish, because you were first season.
I think so.
I think it was the first episode of the first season.
I don't know.
Because you're fancy.
No, I don't think I was on the first season.
I thought you were.
I don't know. I think there was other one. I don't know if I was I definitely don't think I was the first episode.
So built Hammer, and that was, I had an interior guy who didn't show up the night before SEMA, and a whole bunch of disaster, and showed up to SEMA a day late, and which was also fantastic because the rumor was around that this car being filmed was late and it may or may not show up, and we got there, and so that was my first Rides episode, and then there she is. There she is.
My God, that's
so
beautiful.
that thing still holds up. That is owned by the gentleman who owns Traxxas, the radio-controlled Empire.
When I went to your shop, that was there the first time I went to your shop.
It's a lovely car.
Oh, my God.
It still looks good.
Of course it looks good. How could it not look good?
I don't know. I'm just
It
saying.
still looks like that.
Yes, it does. It does look like it.
That
thing spawned a million copies.
God, it's so pretty.
Yeah. So
That's even better.
So
That's even better than the other one. The shape.
the Roadrunner. Yeah, that's actually a sport satellite with borrowed trim pieces from a GTX and Roadrunner.
Really?
Yeah, like cherry picking, like the trim.
So
around
what's
the,
a sport satellite?
sport
Can
satellite?
you click on that link so we can see more pictures of that? That thing's fucking pretty, man. Oh, look at that.
Artwork and so
Click on the interior.
yeah, I handmade the dash out of metal on that car.
Wow.
And Shannon Hudson at Redline Gauge Works I did a drop recess like a BMW, and the red lights just washed down.
Thank God you made that a manual.
Oh yes, And I copied across the back on those cars. They have the individual letters, Plymouth, P-L-Y-M, right?
Yeah.
So I copied the font and had letters made that spelled hammer. And then made a new set on the dash.
Yeah. No, I saw that.
Yeah.
Click on that, Jamie, so you can see how it looks. It looks amazing in the back.
Oh, the tail panel? Oh, that was when we were... There's Vin.
Did Vin Diesel drive it?
Well, he was in it. The stuntmen did the burnouts, and they were in the movie. That's the end of Tokyo. Well, that's where I was going. I got a phone call from... Do you know Dennis McCarthy?
No, I don't.
Okay, he's the guy that handles all the cars for all the Fast Furious movies.
Let me see some more pictures of that.
So he...
And so they want to put it in Fast and the Furious.
Well, I got a phone call from him. He got my number from one of the editors at Hot Rod, and he goes, "Hey, my name's Dennis McCarthy, and I'm doing Fast and Furious stuff, and we need a car for Vin Diesel. He's going to come. We're going to bring his character back in this movie, and I hear you have the most badass Mopar in Southern California. Is that true?" And I go, "Fuck yeah, yeah it is. We have a bad son of a bitch." So they rented it, and but it's the car in the stunt scenes. It's the car doing the burnouts.
Wow.
And
who owns it now?
the guy that owns Traxxas, the radio control car company.
Oh.
He bought it off of Eric.
God, I hope he drives it.
I hope so too. The thing was wonderful. So we actually unveiled it twice at SEMA. We brought it back a couple of years later with the new all aluminum Hemi.
The color of it with the wheels, with the black wheels, the silver outline. God, it's perfect.
Kinesis wheels, K19s, and the color is BMW Sterling Grays.
Look at that fucking thing.
Again, that's
BMW Sterling Gray. That's
Sterling Gray, factory color.
Fucking gorgeous color.
Yes,
man.
it is. And that photography is from the man himself, Randy Lorenzo, another fantastic photographer.
Let me see some pictures in like higher light, Jamie. Is there any pictures?
That's all I had on the website.
Yeah, but like, just let me see. Yeah, go to that one that's outside with the red on the bottom of it, right above your cursor. Yeah.
Oh yeah, at the red carpet.
Yeah, look at that.
Yep, sharp car.
God, it's gorgeous.
So that obviously did wonders, and that was like 2005, 2006. Had a bunch of other really cool stuff, and then we built the Anvil Mustang. We helped develop all the carbon fiber pieces for a company called Anvil, and we unveiled the car at SEMA in 2010. And I knew we had a really good car. It's all cantilever, pushrod, inboard suspension like an F1 car, and we wide-bodied it, except you can't tell unless it's sitting next to a stock one. We actually bowed the quarter panels, so at the door and at the taillights, it's stock. It
Pull that up, Jim.
curves up. There it is.
There it is.
Another. So lots of work done to that thing. The whole nose is all carbon fiber, and it's widened and changed. Tail panels changed. I did it like there. You can see the push rod cantilever inboard suspension there. The coilovers laid down.
That must handle like a motherfucker, huh?
Yeah. It's a lovely car, and that's and that's the rear seat area. That's the inboard. That's a Myers rear, and everything's on quick pins, so you can literally take out the coilovers, put in a different
Do
set of
not
shocks.
stick your fingers in there, kids.
No, bad.
While the car's driving, do not stick your
It
fingers
is
in there.
fantastic to watch in the rearview mirror.
Oh my God, it must be amazing.
You're sitting there watching the stuff work, and you're like, "Oh, I got to be driving." Sorry.
Yeah, just don't have a gym bag back there.
Yeah, bad.
Oh my God, look at that interior.
So
God, that's gorgeous.
That's
a perfect interior for that car.
And we a lot of the time see that down bar going down through the roll bar?
Yes.
That does not touch you when you're in the passenger seat.
Really?
Touches nobody. So it's
What if you're a big guy?
there's a lot of room. But that comes out too, that bolts and unbolts. So yeah, all little switches
Nice.
and handles and whatnot.
Fuck yeah. Does the guy who has this drive it?
Yeah, as far as I know.
He's got to drive this.
So
Please, sir.
it won
Woo, look at that. That is so gorgeous, man.
it won the Ford Design Award car of the show at SEMA, which was
That's a 69, right?
yes, you're correct, sir.
It might be the most gorgeous 69 I've ever seen.
Yeah, lots done again.
Lots done that you
nothing
don't
stock.
notice.
Nothing
Right.
stock. Everything's
That fucking
widened.
suspension setup in the back seat
Yeah, that was cool.
gives me a childhood boner.
Okay, good. So that
All this stuff comes back to when you're kids, right?
heck yeah.
All
Heck
this stuff
yeah.
come back.
Hot
to,
Wheels.
Yeah, Hot Wheels and
Which-
what the cool cars were in your neighborhood
Which
when you were
that
kids.
there's a miracle for me. In 2005 or so, I'm in an airport And before, when I was building Scully, the silver car, 97-ish,
Yeah.
I left the job I was working and went working for a gentleman named Bruce Schultz, and he did sublet work for Mattel and Action Diecast. And we did prototypes. It was before there was rapid prototype anything. So you'd get a drawing from the Mattel crazy Hot Wheel designer. It's like, make this. Or we'd get some and go, here, we need these 25 stripped and painted a different color and different graphics for Toy Fair. So when I worked for Bruce, I met a guy named Kelly Cox, Mr. Kelly Cox, who, as of right now, is going on his 18th or 19th year as an employee for me. We became really good friends working together. We found out we loved the same music. We had the same sense of humor. And so I met Kelly working for Bruce, and I was building that. When I built that Charger, I drove it over to Bruce's house because I'd met him a year before, and I said, hey, look what I did, because he saw the car I started with. And he goes, you did that? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, can you build model cars? I'm like, yeah. He's like, want to work here? I'm like, where? He goes, here in my garage. This is what we do, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, how much do you make working for Chrysler? I go, X. He goes, I'll promise you X, and you can make Y. I'm like, I'm quitting tomorrow. So I'm just in this guy's garage building model, basically, I'm oversimplifying, but building super cool one-off model stuff for Mattel and Hot Wheels. That's 97, right? 98, going into 99. Fast forward 2005, my shop is now up and running. I've had a bunch of magazine features. I'm at an airport, and one of the guys that worked at Mattel was in the airport too. I recognize him because I used to be down there all the time, bringing in prototypes. And I'm joking with him, and I'm like, hey, man, how many super cool features do I got to have before I can get a Hot Wheels made of one of my cars? And he goes, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm like, yeah, it's a good idea. I was joking with him. So they had a new line of your normal Hot Wheels are 1/64th scale. They were going to try this new thing with 1/50th scale, and they're going to call them G machines. And they're like, we'll do a 12-car line with you. You create the paint scheme and then this and then that. But we have X amount of little wheels you can use and X amount of this and that. Well, that worked for both of us because I know working with them. I understand the cost of extra stripes never cost money. So I know how to make a car simple and that one a little more elaborate, and then the budget balances out. I understood all that already. So I went down, had a designer group meeting, and I got a 12-car line that in the back window of every car, it's got my Pure Vision logo. And on the back of the box, it says Pure Vision, the premier hot rod shop in Southern California. And these went global. And I mean, it's the hugest honor. It's an unbelievable opportunity that I still am pinching myself that even happened. And so that was an amazing opportunity working at Bruce's. It begat me having a toy line later and having, my guy that's been with me forever, Kelly, working for me. So I was very fortunate, again, that the stars lined up that way.
That's great, man. It's not fortune, though. It's talent.
Well,
you have an eye for cars. You understand
true,
it.
but
it's an art form, and you're an artist in other ways. You play music. You're a guy who creates things. That's what I think is so interesting about your cars is that you don't just make a cool car. You make a cool car with all these little Easter eggs in it. There's all these little things in it that you have to kind of
that's
understand.
really cool that you say that because we've joked about it at car shows. Our car set is the Easter egg hut. You keep coming back and finding, I didn't even see that.
Well, if you go to the video you did, oh my God, the one on YouTube with
that narrows it down.
The one about about my car.
Oh, your car, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Why am I fucking blanking on
Autotopia?
Autotopia, thank you.
Sean at
Autotopia. That which is an amazing video where you go over in detail all the different weird things that you did.
Little things we changed.
Yeah. Sean's fun.
Oh God, Sean's awesome.
Yeah, really fun. And
he's a good
really
guy.
Fun. He seems like a really good guy. And these videos are awesome. His videos are all awesome, but this one was particularly cool.
Yeah, and he loved being in the car. And the thing is I'm friends with him too. So off camera, he'll tell me good, bad, ugly. And he just loved being in the car. Really appreciated all the work. Actually,
what are you doing now? What are you working on now?
Oh my gosh, I got just finished up a really amazing Chevelle for a guy named Habib. That again, thankful. cover of Hemmings, and it's about to come out in Chevy Hub.
Is that a 67?
Yeah, the turquoise aqua one.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
That's
that
very
lot
pretty.
of like 3 magazines featuring that and a bunch of crap.
You and I had talked about doing
A Chevelle.
an older Chevelle.
Yeah, well, I've still got all the notes because I went hog wild on a 68. Your thing you handed me was a 68 Chevelle.
Is that what it was?
In that list.
Yeah.
I like these 7 cars. Which one do I do?
But I'm glad we went with the Nova. I really
Yeah, well, I
am.
took you to Gary to see, and it's on the thumb drive, the Z28 Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about that. I had this like light bulb.
And that sounded gnarly. That thing always sounds gnarly too.
Well, it was really cool. It was just you did a Z28 version of a 1969.
Yeah, if you could have ordered a
69
69 Nova. Yep,
that's
there it is.
right there. And I saw that, and like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, that's the car.
Yeah.
That's the car.
Yep, yours and his are very, 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 very different. But
Yeah, very different, but still fucking super cool. Like that one, I remember thinking, wow, you don't see enough of these.
no.
That guy in Australia made a cool one. Cam, you know that one guy in Australia?
I think I know the car you're talking about.
Something by Cam.
I'm not super familiar, but I think I know what you're talking
He
about.
made this really wild black 68 or 69 Nova and did some really cool stuff to it. And it was a few years back. Hot Rods by Cam?
Rides by Cam. I just got it.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, see if you can find his Nova. No, there's a black one. He made a black one.
That's a Nova also.
Yeah. See if you can see his black Nova. Cam Black Nova. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Look at this fucking thing. This thing's sick. Give me some volume. Yeah, rock and roll.
Oh, dear God.
Look at that thing. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Steve Strope.
I can hear the turbos.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hear the wastegates.
What does that girl have to do with this? What is
Nothing.
going on here? She's in her underwear. What's happening here?
Photo shoot, probably.
Yeah. Why are they showing that? Show me that goddamn car. Stop trying to distract me. They just want to keep you looking. You know, like
Sure.
they figure you're only going to look at that car for about 45 seconds. But
That's about it.
throw in a hot lady in a bikini, and now
That'll
we
do.
got you.
Sorry, she's still on.
She's still on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the fucking car? Where's the fucking car?
That
Where's
left.
the fucking car. There she is again. That's
been
it.
there for longer.
She's a wild one too, tattooed up.
Oh, great.
That's what you want. If you want a car like that, you want a lady like that.
Fair enough.
That's the dream. Cam's selling the dream.
Is that what he's doing?
He's selling the dream.
Okay, the dream.
Don't you see?
Yeah, I saw
That
it.
car's wild, though. Huh?
Sounds healthy.
Show me some extra images of that car. It's yeah. So that car too influenced my decision.
No. So
I don't know if that car was like during the time we had already decided on a Nova though, because this guy built that a few years back.
yeah. I'm unfamiliar
It's
with
pretty,
it, but
man. That's
sits
fucking
good.
pretty. Look at that.
It's a little taller rear tire, but that's me.
Oh yeah, that's
Little-
an older
little,
school
little
way.
little rubber band.
I want to say
Hey
older
man,
school.
everyone
like,
does their own thing,
But early 2000s, they were doing a lot of that.
right?
Look at that thing though. Whoa, good Lord, that's beautiful.
Big old hood.
Yeah, beautiful car. I think it's a twin turbo, if I remember.
Yeah, it
correctly.
sounded like I was hearing the wastegates pop when he was doing acceleration.
Click on that image of right there where your cursor is. Right there. Yeah, look at that fucking thing. Woo! God, that's gorgeous. But it drives me nuts when people don't put side view mirrors. Like, it doesn't make the car look bad, but you should see where the fuck you're going.
Or where you were,
Yeah, or what's coming up if you're
hell's-
changing lanes.
where the officers are.
Yeah, put a fucking side view mirror on, kids. It does not make the car look ugly. That became a trend for a while where people would have completely shaved mirrors.
Yeah.
You know?
You had asked me what's new, and you know what? I didn't. I'll have to give you because I have nothing up. I'll give you so you guys can.
You got some
So you
ideas?
guys can get it in post. No, I've got 3 cars that are humdingers. I got a Roadrunner coming out called Haraka, which is African for speed, and it's quite the piece.
Is
We're
that
gonna-
done? Or you
No,
haven't
we're going to
unveiled
unveil
yet?
it next year at SEMA.
Oh.
And it's got
what
a
stage is it in now?
bare metal and heavy fab.
You got any images?
I will supply you images.
Is that it right there? That is like a
yeah,
cell phone
that's-
from the 60s.
What the hell is
That's one of them
that?
time machine
How'd you
cell
even get
phones.
that? What is that? Oh, I know what it is. It might have been like an Instagram,
It's a TikTok video. I think.
yeah, or something.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's way beyond that stage, and it's
Roadrunner's another car that's a very cool
yes.
car.
This one is going to be something.
You know what someone
I
should
promise
do?
you.
Someone should redo Blade's 69 Charger from the movie Blade. Do you remember that? I think it was a 69. It's definitely a late 60s Charger. Blade, you know, the vampire hunter?
Yeah.
He drove around in a
Oh, did he?
Charger when he was killing people.
It's a 68.
68. Yeah, similar
Well-
body style. There it is right there. Look at that car right there. Somebody needs to redo that. Because
Well,
Blade had
that's
like...
not hard.
Blade had a souped... But I mean a really good one. Like a really
sure.
well done one.
Easy.
Blade had a souped up Charger. Look at it. That's what he drove around in. Someone should make like a Blade themed...
Again, that's just a
68
Charger with
Charger.
auto drags on it or center lines.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to look exactly like that. But a Blade themed 69 Charger. Like if he had one that went through your shop. Like if Blade came to your shop, said, I want to kill vampires.
Oh, good.
You know what I'm saying? Like what would
So-
you build them?
I'll send you guys the artwork, but that's the Roadrunner right now. But it's
Why are you
more
trying to
than
change the subject?
because
We're talking about Blade. if Blade came to you right now and wanted to make
fine.
a
I'll do him a
68
Charger. I'll do him a Charger. Yeah,
which if he's trying to run from vampires, how well could you get a 68, 69 Charger to handle? There's a lot of
Well, now,
front end sheet metal. and a lot of,
there's stuff available now that
yeah.
there's plenty of stuff.
What could you do to balance it out?
In fact, on this Roadrunner, I have a brand new suspension from Heights. That's a IFS and IRS from, well, I just said from Heights.
Let's explain to people that don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Independent
front
rear suspension,
and
independent front
rear.
suspension. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's really trick stuff, and it's brand new for them.
What about like a rear transaxle to balance out the weight?
You could, even though the Roadrunners weren't super heavy. They're about 3,600 pounds.
Right, but the Charger.
Oh, same thing. It's
Same
a
thing?
B body.
Basically the same
yeah,
body.
it's the same thing.
So they weren't that heavy. They were how heavy?
About 38
3,800. That's
for a
pretty
Charger
heavy.
or so. Yeah. Well,
What did you think of that one that someone built that they made all carbon? Did you ever see that?
Yes, I'm familiar. They've done quite a few of them.
Yeah. Was
It's-
it Speed Core? Is that what Speed
Yeah.
Core? Mm-hmm. See if you can find that Speed Core carbon Charger.
Yep. Cool piece for
That
sure.
probably drives great because of the lightweight.
Well, and it's on a brand new modern chassis.
Ooh, look
Yeah,
at that thing.
Yeah, billet, probably the grill's billet or seeing or
Ooh.
so.
An all carbon fiber exterior.
Yeah, so
What
the
do you
body sits down over the chassis, and that's how it sits that low.
What do you think that thing weighs?
A lot less, but probably not a lot less that you think, because parts still weigh.
Right, of course. So, like, just removing the steel and replacing it with carbon.
You know
think
what?
Save 500 pounds?
Yeah, it might be low 3,000s, like 31, 32, which is
That's probably amazing then.
Mm-hmm. yeah, sure,
Look at that thing. Where are you going to park that?
somewhere.
You'd be terrified.
Somewhere safe.
You'd be terrified of someone dinging your doors.
No, yeah.
You got a goddamn carbon fiber car. Look at that thing.
Yeah, you're not pounding the dents out.
Yeah. What do you do if you get in an accident in a carbon fiber car? They have to refab completely new panels for you?
You either put a new one on or probably. Well, it depends. If it's the quarter panel, that might be a problem.
Like if you get hit in the rear.
Fender, you replace the fender.
If you get hit in the rear, they probably have to redo your whole car.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like
What's that?
expensive
They have
fiberglass
free parts
surgery.
here. You can buy new bumpers at least.
So you can buy a carbon fiber Charger bumper.
It looks like they have.
Yeah, but the bumper's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the quarter panels, the roof, you know, because if you get somebody rear ends you or hits you from the side, it's going to fuck up all that stuff.
Right.
I guess you can't think about that. You
No.
just have to be cool.
Yep.
Driving around.
Yep.
They're doing that with quite a few hot rods now, right? Like I know there's a company that makes
doing a-
classic
there's doing a
recreations.
Camaro.
They do a complete carbon fiber GT500. You've seen that, right?
Oh, someone doing the GT? The older one?
Yeah, 67 GT500.
Carbon?
Classic Recreations is doing it.
Ah, cool. I know.
See if you can find that.
I know there's a guy that's doing they do the Charger. That one. And there's a 69 Camaro that's all carbon.
So see what it looks like. Yeah, look at that. Ooh. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's probably very light, right?
Well, it's again
Because that's an even smaller car,
It's
right?
going to be lighter. Yes, yeah, the Mustang is lighter and smaller.
If
That
you
is
had to
correct.
get 67, right? What if you had to guess? What do you think that thing weighs?
I bet you it's still around 3,000 or so. Again,
Right, but
it depends what
3,000
engine. It
pounds.
depends what suspension. It depends everything.
It says scroll up a little bit.
It's interesting that all the carbon companies that are doing this don't talk about a weight.
Keep going, Jamie, for the top of the page, so I could see what it said. It was saying something about the horsepower. Where does it say the
do
engine?
they do a turnkey car?
I mean, you might have been hovering over the engine part of it. Is that what it is? Oh, 545 horsepower. So it's a 427 crate engine. Which is probably all you need if it's that light.
Oh, it's more than fine for
That's got
driving
to be
around the street.
amazing. Oh, you could do a Coyote Gen 3 with a supercharger that's 770 horsepower. If you're a fucking psycho. Right?
If you're a fucking psycho,
If you're a
unquote,
fucking psycho and you want a carbon fiber car that weighs nothing
if you're just greedy,
with
you know,
770 horsepower.
that'll probably get you to the store on time without much
You
difficulty.
ain't going to the store in that.
Oh, why not?
Putting groceries in the back seat of that
Live
thing.
dangerously. Go to Ralph's.
Yeah, I bet some people do with it.
Yeah. So,
You know, I'm sure there's people that take their hot rods around as daily drivers. You know, I met a
Oh,
guy
yeah.
once in
I drive mine.
do you every day?
Not every day. I have to use my
What
truck
are you
too.
driving?
Well, normally I use my work truck.
Yeah, but when you're not driving to work, like
Oh,
what hot
I've
rod?
got a really fun little which again did I put on the thumb drive? I have a 64 Olds little Cutlass that I built for cross country driving. So it's got modern air conditioning, like vintage air and Dynamat sound deadening, and I have these really wonderful seats from Porsche Panamera, cut 7 inches off of it. And it's got
wow.
they're like 18-way power.
Show me pictures.
Heated and cooled. Do I have anything on there?
I have a 64 Fury.
Nope. That's the brand new Fury. We just finished that.
Do you have it on your website?
Nope, that's not up yet either.
You don't have your own car on your website?
It was on my TV show.
Oh, okay. Well, how could we see that then?
I don't know.
Was it Rides? Was it an episode of Rides?
No.
Your
I
TV show.
I had,
Oh,
yeah,
that TV show. Yeah.
The hand-built hot rods.
That's right. I was on one of them episodes. Oh,
Yes,
there it is.
that's
bro.
right. Your car.
There it
Yeah, there it is. So Mercedes Quartz Blue with basically a Ferrari saddle tan.
Pretty much your
interior.
daily driver.
Yeah, that's the thing I put around in.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice car. It's made to be comfy driving, anywhere.
It's beautiful.
So, and like, all the other stuff, probably for the last 15 years let me see, 13 years, same great cast of characters. I definitely want to shout out because I am, as I've said before in other interviews and other things, no man is an island. I am surrounded by talent. And,
Jamie's an island.
Oh, okay.
Ask him.
Jamie's an island. All right. Well, hi
He
there.
says it all the time.
Hi there, Island Jamie.
I go, what are you doing, Jamie? Because I'm an island.
Oh.
And he just walks away, and everybody just.
Not to be
Are you a
confused with an
rock?
island boy? I'm not.
Are you a rock? Do you know your old songs?
He's not an island
You're
boy.
a rock, you're an island, as Paul Simon would say.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Painter master Mick Jenkins at Mix Paint. My interior guy is Gabe's. These are all the same people on Your Nova. Unbelievably wonderful family. It's dad and the sons working. So it's such a cool deal, the interior guys. And then my guys, as I've already babbled, Kelly. And then there's Troy Bray, who's just a fantastic all-around everything. He can just do whatever I ask him. And then a new kid named Tommy. I do got to throw out all those big deal cars. There was the Anvil that you looked at. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't have a year off. We had a couple others we finished. And then we did a car called the Martini Mustang that we went to SEMA. And that took the Ford Design Award again, car of the show. And then the next year we took the twin turbo Camaro, and that won the GM Design Award, car of the show. And then the next year we came with the Fairlane, the Black Ops Fairlane, and that won the Ford Design Award, car of the show. So we're the only shop I know of. And again, I say with thankful because I had such amazing employees and people around me putting up. That's a heavy schedule to do 3 out of the park cars 3 years in a row. That's nobody sleeping. That's nobody sleeping.
For sure.
And don't know of another shop that's done that ever.
Congratulations.
Ford Gym. So I'm very thankful to those guys. And back then there was a guy who had worked for me for about 18 years named Pete, and he just moved back to Washington to be near his folks and all. So he's got a place called Muscle Car Beach.
I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah,
Pure
that's
Vision Pete.
Pete Hartskull. So just really, I'm so lucky that I got all these people putting up with me, because I literally wake up at 3 a.m. and come up with these ideas and start sketching the ideas and, oh my gosh, we got to do this, and then they're like, okay, and they put up and do. So really, really, really thankful for that. And as you know, you've got a great team here with Island over there, and
Yeah, you need a team.
you need a team for great
Yeah, I
things.
couldn't do this fucking thing without Jamie. I'd be lost. First of all, you know how slow I Google? He Googles faster than me with one hand.
Do you like it down
while
here?
he's flipping switches. Yeah, I love it down here.
Came
I
down?
do. Yeah, I love it.
3 years ago?
It's a different way of life.
Yeah.
Like, it gets really hot in the summer, but that doesn't seem to bother me. What I really enjoy is how nice people are. It's a different kind of nice. They're like real, regular, nice people. They're not
Right.
Hollywood nice. I really believe that everywhere in Southern California, like just the overall vibration of the area is in some way affected by the vast amount of people that are seeking stardom and want to be something special and want to be seen. And, I'm obviously guilty of that because I'm, a comedian and all the other stuff I've done. So
Right.
I was a part of it. I understand it. I'm not criticizing the people that are doing it, but I'm saying that it does affect the way people communicate with each other, especially because of acting. Because acting is like the number one thing that people came to LA for back in the day. It was the number one thing. If you were a kid and you had a dream, you wanted to be a movie star, you came to LA. And along the way, these people realized like the only way to get chosen for roles, you have to be this Daniel Day-Lewis, like super mysterious, ultra talented person who everybody worships, or you had to play the game. So you had to say all the things that the producers wanted you to say. You had to support all the political causes. You had to check all the boxes. You couldn't think outside the box at all. And there's a way of communicating that people have in LA that it's like signaling that they're a part of this tribe, signaling they're a part of this very progressive, ultra left-wing ideology, and everybody has to subscribe to it regardless of the consequences that it has on the city or the crime or the
Yes.
chaos or all the other stuff. And it's just, I think it's tempered by this desire that people have that live to fit in because they want to be cast in things. Like you think about someone who's an actor. You're probably already fucked up. You're probably already insecure, which is why you want this exorbitant amount of attention. You probably had a bad childhood or whatever it was. Whatever it was. You were not stable and you go so far that you desire this exorbitant amount of attention. Then what you have to do is you have to get in front of casting agents so people get to pick you. They have to choose whether or not you're good, choose whether or not you're worthy. And your self-esteem is based on whether or not you get picked. Yeah. And so there's these people that are constantly in this cycle of rejection, constantly in this cycle seeking acceptance and rejection. And then they see people that make it and they're furious. Why isn't it me?
Right.
Like I had a friend and he was dating this gal and she was an actress too. And he got a role on a TV show. And he was so excited and he told her about it. And she started crying saying, when is something going to happen for me? It's the first thing she said. I was like, dude, that's not good. Like, that's not, but that is
Red flag.
Super, super common. And that's a lot of like what flavors the consciousness of Los Angeles. It has an effect on it. And out here, that doesn't exist.
Right.
It's different.
I agree. And for me, I was really happy to find agreeing with you. To find Simi Valley, because I'm from...
Oh, yeah, very different.
Let's go back at the beginning of the conversation. I'm from Appalachian.
Right.
That's a handshake is your word. It's real simple background.
Mike sells moonshine. Yeah.
So Simi, again, not for a game of name dropping, but I know, like my friend Ezio that has Bomb Hoagie, my favorite little place to get Philly cheesesteaks, which you can't find for shit out in California, does yummy stuff. I know like Danish, the manager at my bank. I know Neil, who has, well, of course, East Coast Pizza. You know, I know their names. I know these people because it's got that small town feel to it.
Right.
It's not just in and out, and you have no time to meet anybody or know anybody, or you know what I mean.
I've been out there because Terran Tactical, that's out in Simi Valley, and
Right.
it's just a normal neighborhood. It's a normal community that's
So-
sort of divorced from a lot of what ails LA.
And I know you had gone there from past times of just telling me. Do you still go back? And
Yeah, when
and
I'm
go
in
there?
LA. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah, if I'm in LA and I have time, I go back there.
Shave in another 5 minutes since I'm around the corner.
Well, oftentimes I'm there on Sunday, and you know,
well, let me know.
Shop. Yeah,
Let me know. That's cool. I didn't know if you went back. I know you liked it.
yeah, it's good to know. I mean, if you have a gun, it's good to know how to really use it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's the best. That guy's awesome. He's just such a
Does
great
he
instructor.
give you instructions?
Oh yeah, it's instructions.
Oh, it's not just
No.
here's a range and go
No,
shoot.
no,
things.
no, no, no. You're getting taught by a master. I mean, Terran is like a multiple-time world champion in those shooting competitions. Yeah,
Oh, I did not know. I
trained-
did not know it was an instructional thing.
Yeah, he trained Keanu Reeves there for John Wick.
Oh.
Yeah, he trained Michael B. Jordan. He trained him from a bunch of his movies. He's trained just a host of people. I was there with Rob Lowe. I've been there with multiple comedians. I took my friend Shane Gillis there. It's like he trains people like literally from the very beginning, how to correctly hold the pistol, how to brace it correctly, what amount of pressure you put with your left hand versus your right hand, how to line the sights up. He teaches you like how to do everything correctly.
That's
And he runs
awesome
you through a
that
course.
Keanu Reeves has that. So when he's filming it, he's looking like
Oh, he looks
actually
super
is
legit.
shooting a gun.
Super legit. If you watch John Wick, he looks super legit. He absolutely knows what he's doing because Terran trained him. I mean, everything he does is exactly how you would do it.
How long have you known Taryn? Taryn?
Terran.
Terran.
T-A-R-A-N. Years. I don't know. Many years. I think I first went there. I forget who brought me there, honestly. I forget who brought me there. But, you go there for like an hour and he coaches you. It's great. A couple hours maybe. And he'll always have new people there.
Just-
I've met Chad Stileski, the guy who produced and directed. He actually wrote and did he write John Wick or did he? He directed it and produced it.
Yeah, I think at least if he didn't write it by himself, he definitely co-wrote.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So I met him there. I met like a bunch of really cool people there.
The-
He's always having like the King of Jordan was just there training with him. Yeah, it's wild. Like he
Okay.
trains people. He's that good. Like he trains people from
Does
all
he
over
do
the
just
world.
firearms or does he do bow and arrow?
Just firearms.
Oh.
Yeah, they do throw hatchets too. So he shows you how to throw a hatchet because there's a lot of stuff that people use in movies and in John
yeah.
Wick movies and things like
Skill sets.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
filming.
yeah. But yeah, Halle Berry trained there. There's all these videos of her learning how to you know, shoot a pistol.
I don't know if I've ever spoke with you about it. I always, growing up, I fiddled with archery, bow and arrows. It
Yeah?
fascinated me. And Nuge.
Sure, Ted Nugent.
And he's Whackmaster, as his brand is. Do you? Yeah, you got into that too, right? Weren't
Bow
you?
hunting? Yeah.
Weren't you doing that too?
Yeah, I still do it. Yeah.
Yeah?
I just got back. I just got back from an elk hunt in Utah.
Oh,
Yeah,
bow hunting.
bow hunting. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Practice every day. I was out in my yard today practicing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
You have to.
For me, that's harder than guns.
Oh, of course.
I mean, guns
It's
take
way
a skill set for sure.
Oh yeah, no, guns aren't easy. It's not easy to kill a deer with a rifle. I mean, you could get lucky and one can be close, but if you're in the mountains, it's very difficult to get close
Right,
to them. You have
right.
to understand the wind and how to sneak up on them. It's
Right.
easier with a rifle because you could take a 200-yard shot ethically, whereas with a bow, you really want to get inside of 60 yards if you can.
Right. And then have the aim.
And you have to be really good.
Yeah, and then the aim.
And you have to be able to keep your nerves together.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always
There's a lot going on.
fascinated with it. And my dad, because my area, again, Abilene, a lot of hunting, fishing, that kind of stuff. So that was promoted.
It's an amazing way to get food. It really is. Like your food has a.
It's a very realistic way to get your food.
You just have a very different connection with what your food is. You know, when I eat an elk steak, it's a very different connection than if I eat like a steak that I got from HEB. You know?
Explain.
Well, you were there when this like the last one I killed was my favorite because it was so old. It was an 11-year-old elk, and his teeth were all worn out. Like when we opened his jaw, that's about as old as you get in the mountains. Like you might live to be 13, but probably not. And during the rut, when they're breeding, they don't eat a lot of the time. So they lose a ton of weight because they're just running around chasing tail. And then literally.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. And then during the winter, it's rough. It's rough because they have to eat as much as they can after the rut. And by that time, it might already be snowing. So the grass might be getting covered up, but it's harder to get food. And, if you're not lucky, you could freeze to death in the winter because you don't have enough fat. And it happens to them all the time. That's generally how they go out, or a cat gets them.
Right.
And it's one of the two is probably coming, or they can get injured and a cat catches them limping, and then that's a wrap. It's a fucking hard Scrabble life. So that was my favorite because we got him at the right time, 11 years old. That's a really good time. That's a real mature, wise old elk that you just caught slipping. And so when I'm eating that, I'm eating something that I work really hard to get to. I practice really hard. I got in really good shape. Did all these things to work on my aim, work on my precision with my shooting, and just work on all the things, the cardio, all the things that you have to do it. So it's just a very different connection than just. I'll still eat a steak at a restaurant. I still love them. They're just so great.
Sure.
But it's just a different experience.
Right. Well, sure.
It's
more definitely more personal.
It's definitely more personal, but it's also more honest. It's a much more honest exchange. Especially if you're getting some factory farm shit. Like, there's a lot of weird karma that comes with that. There's a lot of weird karma. It's so easy to get a chicken sandwich. It's so easy to pull into a drive-thru and get a chicken sandwich. But if you had to see the life that chicken lived, you'd probably be pretty fucking horrified. There's a lot of the chickens we buy. I'm sure you've seen those chicken trucks that are driving down the street on the highway, and they're just stuffed with chickens, and you're like, yo, that's a fucked up life. Or did you ever see the one where the pigs, there was a car accident, I think, and the pigs jumped out of the fucking truck, and they were like splattered all over the highway. They tried to escape. Yeah, not good. So like I said, it's a very different thing.
Oh, sure. No, agreed.
Yeah.
Understood. So you're still hunting, obviously.
Yeah.
You just came back from one. So.
Yeah. It's a good reset for me because, I do this weird thing where everybody listens to me talk. It's very strange. The whole thing's very strange. And you could get a very inflated sense of your worth and your perspective and your place on Earth. But when you're in the mountains, that's literally impossible.
Oh,
You
yes.
know exactly. You know how tired you get when you go up the hill.
Yep.
You know what a bitch you are. in comparison to these other animals that are out there hunting these things, you are not. You're only an apex predator because you have a bow.
That's about it.
That's it.
In fact, that is it.
It's the only reason. And then, you're also encountering this unforgiving, uncaring, beautiful
Landscape.
It's not just a landscape. It's a realm.
Fair enough.
When you're there, it's like when you're in the actual wild, it's a realm. It's a different realm than the realm we exist in. I know you can just walk into it, but once you are in there, you are living inside this ancient system of tooth and claw, this ancient system of breeding and survival and predators and carnivores and these animals that are just there to pick up the mess, the vultures that swoop in and the birds, and it's just a fucking wild place to be, man. And it just completely resets me. Just that alone.
I understand and agree.
Yeah.
You have good reverence. Long time ago, I met a couple of Indians, Native American, that tried to follow basically their lineage, and the discussion was that the same vein of the respect of that. You described it well. That realm.
It is like a realm.
The
real. That's why it's so disappointing when you find garbage. The saddest thing when you're on some public trail and you see like a water bottle that someone just discarded. Like, oh no, you're bringing our bullshit into this incredible realm.
Yeah.
In that realm, there's no garbage. It doesn't exist. Everything gets eaten. Everything that dies gets consumed by the earth. It becomes fertilizer for the trees. It becomes food for all these creatures that live there.
It's all a cycle.
It's an insanely perfect cycle. And when you're there, it's just like, okay. It just puts it all in perspective. And it's also fucking thrilling, man. Like when you're around these animals, you see an eagle fly overhead. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's thrilling.
Big bird.
In California a few years back, I watched a golden eagle grab a rabbit.
Real big bird.
Oh man, it was awesome. He swooped in and we saw it we were driving in a truck and we saw it just at the very end. There was like this rabbit that was like right underneath the branches of this tree, and this eagle just swooped in and grabbed it. And just grabbed it on the ground and started flapping its wings and going up this little hill with it. And we were like, holy shit.
I, again, from background where I'm from, a lot of farms.
A lot of mobsters, too.
Well, there was that. Yep. But a lot of farms worked, when I was younger, chucking hay bales. And would, because of being around barns, see owls hunt.
Oh, they're amazing.
They are, everyone's like, owls are so fascinating and cool and neat. I'm like,
Bro.
They are a cold-blooded assassin.
Ruthless night stalkers.
Ruthless and absolutely silent.
Yeah,
They
amazing.
make no noise. They are the nature's hitman.
Have you ever seen the video? It's a trail camera video that they set up on this nest of hawks. So these hawks in this nest,
No.
and they're sitting there at night just looking around. This owl comes in from the background. You see his eyes in the distance and just snatches them. Watch this because it's amazing.
They are.
This is what an owl is. It's not give a hoot, don't pollute. It's not.
No.
This is the way you get to the library.
They are.
Watch this.
They are assassins.
So look in the distance and you'll see the eyes soon. There they are. Watch this. Here they come. No. They'll just appear.
Well, I'm sure he'll make real quick work of it.
Here he comes. Watch this. Look at the eyes.
Oh,
Bam! And that other one is like, what?
What?
Where's my brother?
What just happened? Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like I said,
Just stole
absolutely
one.
silent and unbelievably efficient.
Snatch. Look at the eyes, man. That's a demon.
Wham!
I mean, that is a demon. It's just a fluffy demon.
Fluffy demon.
If that thing was doing that to people and it was covered in like lizard scales, we would say, oh my God, it's a demon.
Yeah.
But because it's got feathers, for some reason, we like to think this thing is this wise, cute thing in the
Bam.
forest. Ooh.
No, I've watched them hunt, and it's. I think the thing was most fascinating to me is they're absolutely silent.
Yeah.
There's no noise. You know the prey has no idea that thing's coming.
Yeah. When we
Wham!
were just leaving California, we found one that looked like it had been poisoned.
Ah,
It's a real bummer, man.
an
because-
owl?
Yeah, because what happens is people poison rats. If people have rats in their garbage, they'll
There you
put
go.
rat poison
Sure,
out.
of course.
The rats eat the poison, the owls eat the rats, and the
Poisons
owls
the
die.
owl.
And so I'm not an expert in owls, but there was something really wrong because it was sitting in the front door of our house, and it was literally the day before we moved to Texas.
Oh,
Just sitting there.
oh,
like,
at
dying.
the old
Yeah,
old
so it
house
was
back
like
home.
symbolic. It was, to me, it was almost like symbolic of the life I knew here dying. That I had to leave it. That's
Was
how
it,
it
was it
felt.
a little
really,
guy, big guy?
like about that big, regular sized owl.
Yeah.
It wasn't a mature owl. He was a mature owl, but it was fucked up, man. It was just fucked up, just trying to move a little and couldn't move its wings. It was very, very, very sad. And I know where I lived was very hilly. There's a lot of rats. There's a lot of coyotes. There's a lot of wildlife out there.
Sure.
So I'm assuming that someone poisoned it. Because it was a suburban community and people don't want rats in their garbage.
Sure.
And they don't understand the food chain. But I think that was a real problem that was killing off a lot of owls. See if that's documented. Because I think that was a real problem in the Hollywood Hills as well. That people were poisoning rats and the rat poison was killing owls. It's a bummer, man. But, there's something about those. I don't know how they got labeled the way they got labeled. Like, I don't know how they got a monocle and a book. Like, something happened.
Yeah, that would be the wise, right?
Yeah.
The wise old owl.
Rat poison from marijuana farms is harming federally threatened northern spotted owls. So it's a thing. It's not. I'm sure it's not just the marijuana farms. I know people in my neighborhood were using rat poison. I know they
sure.
were. Because people would ask you, how do you deal with the rats?
Well, it doesn't sound like that's a far-fetched theory, that's for sure.
No. Do you know how smart rats are? that if you leave
Yes,
some poison,
I had rats as pets.
did you?
Yes.
Have you ever seen the Netflix show Rats?
No.
Oh my God. There's an amazing documentary on Netflix called Rats. And you watch it and you just go, what? Like, you don't understand the scope of the rat problem in this country. Like, you don't know that there's more, the same, I think they think it's the
I know, the
exact
one in New
same
York City.
biomass. I think in New York City, the biomass of rats surpasses the biomass of humans. So if you weighed all the
Plausible.
people in New York City, I think the rat biomass is actually either the same or larger. That's how many rats there are in New York City.
Yay.
See if that's true.
I know that I've read multiple. They don't have an accurate estimation of the rats.
It's like fish in the ocean,
it's a
right?
huge different number. It's like 2 million or 50 million.
Well, yeah.
If it's 2 million, it's 25% of the human population there.
And if
So
it's
that's-
50 million, it's
and
what?
it's way more. That's what I mean. It depends
Yeah.
on how many there really are.
I bet it's 100 million. Fucking rats in New York City it's insane how many
Oh,
there are.
I'm very familiar.
Yeah. And this documentary shows how intelligent they are. And one of the things they do, if you leave poison in like a rat tunnel where the rats go, the rats will get a young, stupid rat to go eat the poison. It's like, hey, man, look at that food. And they'll sit back and watch. The old rats will sit back and watch. And the young rat goes over, starts eating poison. And they go, yep, thought so. And they take off. Like, they know. There's videos of rats setting rat traps with sticks. Have you seen this?
No.
Pull that video.
Totally
So
believable.
they set up a rat trap, and this rat walks over and picks up a stick and drops it on the rat trap so it can get the cheese. Like, that's how fucking smart they are.
Sure.
Those little creeps.
Those little creeps.
Watch this. So look at this rat. Oh, yeah, it's a rat, right? It's not a mouse. It says mouse trap, but isn't that a rat? Like the tail? I don't know. What is that?
That looks small enough to be a mouse, but it could be a rat.
Either way, whatever this fucking thing is, watch this.
Wow.
Snap. With a fucking stick, man. Like, it knows how to set that thing off, and it didn't even flinch. You imagine you don't know that that's going to happen, and you drop a stick on something and it explodes? Watch that mouse or rat or whatever the fuck it is. That thing.
Oh, you're right. He didn't.
It's a rat.
He didn't freak out because the
it says
thing went
world's
snap.
world's smartest rat. So it is a rat. Watch this.
Dude.
This motherfucker doesn't even flinch. Watch. Drops it on there. Not a budge.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Question.
Just like cracking a safe.
If it's a rat, do you think maybe this kid
Trained it.
Trained it, yeah. And
Yeah,
that's why it's
probably.
not afraid.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen randomly.
Yeah, it's probably for the clicks.
Because I used to teach him to play basketball where I was from.
Maybe.
What?
It might be for the clicks, or it might be a legit video of how fucking smart rats were. Like, he was trying to figure out, how are these motherfuckers not dying? Maybe he just kept a rat trap in the same spot over and over and over again, and eventually they realized,
Maybe.
oh, every time it snaps, then a rat gets killed, but the food's still there.
Yeah, well, this account is he's got Mousetrap Monday, so he must have.
Oh, so he's like running experiments.
See, that's a mouse
He deals with
Yeah.
in
that,
the
but-
picture. If
That's
that's
a
his,
mouse.
if that's his buddy pal,
Was the other one a mouse or a rat, though?
stunt mouse.
So this is the guy that did that little video?
Yeah, so I was noticing this account had like 2 million followers on it. I was like, this might be.
It says mouse. It says Mousetrap Monday. So they look like mice in that little thing that he's holding, right?
Right.
So he must have trained mice, and he probably incentivizes them to snap the trap.
Yeah. The theory of what Pavlov's dog or whatever
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
do.
you
Repeat,
might guess.
repeat, learn.
I wonder how he taught them how to set a trap with a fucking
I
stick.
wonder how
though.
many died trying to
Yeah.
figure it out.
I know, right? He probably sacrificed a lot of his little pets.
The dark side to Mousetrap Monday.
Yeah. The very dark side to Mousetrap Monday.
What are you doing over there, man?
Yeah. I know, right? If you're running tests,
Someone's
you
gonna
gotta have
go.
to use mice.
Try to
Something.
check. I bet he would have the video of him teaching it if he did do that too, because that would get some views. You know.
Yeah. It's a strange thing. I mean, it's obviously that we have this distaste for rats and mice because they carry these bugs that carry the plague and they carry diseases, and they document that in the Netflix special too. The Netflix special shows like some of them have plague. There's like some of these,
Hooray.
yeah, they catch. I mean, obviously not a lot of people are getting bitten by rats, but if you were, you'd be fucked. There's a lot of them that are just horrific.
Well, I have to congratulate you
For what?
on something you may not know. So
Are you like a fucking?
I talk
hand
with my
model?
hands. What do you want? Think
You
you may not know.
What is it?
So I got together with a guy named Drew Harden, who's been an editor at I think at Hot Rod and Rod and Custom, a bunch of different books. And he's written books, like books. He had a book called Hot Rod Magazine, All the Covers, which covered up to, no pun, all the way up to 2009. Hot Rod started in 1947. So all the way up to 2009, every cover ever printed, right? And then he just released a new book, like the history of Hot Rod Magazine, right? Which begat every automotive magazine. That was the first. And Mr. Peterson, I mean, he had everything. He had Hot Rod, he had Field and Stream, Better Homes and Gardens, like every made popular science, every book you could think of was him, if I remember right. Anyway, so I, because of your latest cover, asked Drew, hey man, how many cars have been on the Hot Rod magazine twice? And I have every issue of Hot Rod from 47 to now. But it's easier to ask someone who's written a book about the covers than go through every one of them. And we found 14 cars that had been on the cover twice. But I said, hey, how many cars have been on the cover 3 times? And there's 5. And one of them, I mean, it made the criteria. It was on the cover 3 times, but it was Hot Rod Magazine's Crusher Camaro. So I'm like, oh, that's insider trading. The editors can put their own car on the cover. But nevertheless, but your Nova was on shared cover with my Buick funny car, Skylark. It's clearly in the cover. That was part of the criteria. Is the vehicle, if there's more than one car on the cover, is it on purpose? And yours was on purpose. It's on the side. It's not even back there. It's here. And then it was on the cover in bare metal built and then brand new out right now in the newsstands for Hot Rod. So you are one of 5 cars ever in the history of Hot Rod Magazine to be on the cover 3 times.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Which is, and congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much. What does it look like on the cover? Show me the cover of the magazine.
I've got it in my briefcase. I'll send one back to you. I brought one for
look
you.
It up right now.
Yes, you will. Brand new issue of Hot Rod Magazine. I've got it on my phone, but he'll find it.
I'm sure Jamie will find it.
Well, he's an island, you know.
He's an island.
He'll find
He's
it.
a man. He's a rock.
Wow. Pretty cool. But now no pressure out to our editor on
Trying to get on
hand.
4 times? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, we're all done with that card.
Okay, I was going, what's this pressure talk?
No. John McGann, who's the current editor of Hot Rod Magazine, which we thank for the wonderful cover.
Did you find it?
If I'm putting it out there to the car universe, if he gets the opportunity or wishes to feature there you go.
There it is. Hot Rod remixed.
There
Pretty
it is.
dope.
Your Sickfish 2.0 that the Roadster Shop did a wonderful, beautiful job. If they feature it again, and if the gods of Hot Rod deem it so, to put it on the cover, I'm putting it out there. If no pressure, John, but if that happened, you would be the only human on the planet to own 2 vehicles, one that's been on the cover twice, because Sickfish was on the cover once in bare metal.
Right.
And then the Nova's on the cover 3 times. You would be the only human in history.
Someone can have that. Someone else can have it.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's okay.
What do I know? I don't know if John's featuring it or if
I
they put
know
it on the cover.
it's a prestigious thing, but
Well, it's a neat thing.
yeah, it's cool. The car's cool. I just like them for what they are.
You know what? And that's really true. I've talked with a lot of people because they ask me, because obviously you're well known for this gig. And I think you're just rippingly funny. We'll watch you tonight, by the way. Going to go down and watch you. And they're my car world guys are like, is he really like a gearhead? And I'm like, you know what? I don't think he's out wrenching on it, but I know he has a very deep, totally digs it, thinks it's wonderful, thinks it's cool.
I don't wrench on him, but
he's not on this to like look cool owning one. You actually really like them.
No, I love them. Even when I'm not driving them, I go in my garage and I stare at them.
Sitting there, look. You know what? There's a great thing that's been said again within my world. You got the wrong car if you don't park it, walk away, and turn around to look at it again.
Yeah.
If you do that, you got the right car for you, man. You turn around, you look at it, and you go, that thing's badass, man.
Sometimes
You know?
I don't even have to drive it. I just sit and look at it.
Yeah.
It's art. It really is. These kind of old cars in particular, that especially like that Nova that you made, is a piece of art.
Yeah.
And to me, I get a much greater satisfaction out of that kind of art than I do a lot of art. I love art. Obviously, you see the studio. It's filled with art out there.
Sure.
I love art. I love when people make things. I love human expression. I love it I like custom-made pool cues. I like when people make shoes. I like stuff. I like people
Artisan.
make knives.
Artisan.
Yes, cars. That's what I like. I like when I see a thing, I know that humans made it. They worked on it. Their mind, their creativity, their skill, their talent. I love that.
And it's interesting because obviously you have a lot of dexterity from hunting, learning and utilizing firearms and say bow, like we were talking. Do you have an outlet that is artistic? Do you woodwork? Do you do stuff, anything like that? Because you obviously have a high appreciation for it.
No, I don't really make anything. No, I don't. I just other than jokes and podcasts.
Did you ever want to?
No, it's like, to me, it's like music. Like, I don't have any music talent, but I really appreciate music. I love that I can go. I love that I can't play guitar, but I can go watch Gary Clark Jr. And I'm like, I just don't even
excellent
know
choice.
how the fuck is he doing that? The sounds is just magic. I love it. I love that I have no connection to it. I love that kind of stuff. I love things that I don't have any skill in doing. I love watching people execute
But you appreciate
things.
it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate human expression. I think that we all do.
Yeah.
And
I definitely do.
There's human expression in a lot of forms. And for me, when I was a kid growing up, the fucking coolest thing in the world were hot rods. When I was 15, 16, when I was, getting my learner's permit and about to get a driver's license, all of us in the town that I grew up in Newton, Massachusetts, all my friends, everyone was obsessed with cars. We were all obsessed with Camaros and Firebirds, and everyone was obsessed
Mustangs
with cars.
and Chevelles, and
And that is burned in my brain. We used to go. There was God, I wish I could remember his name because he was so cool. There was an auto shop teacher, this old Irish guy. He was fucking great. He was hilarious, and we always wanted to take auto shop class because he was just a regular guy. You could hang out with him,
Right.
And he was only into Mustangs, like old Mustangs.
All
And he had these
cool.
old Mustangs, and we'd all work on these Mustangs and fucking bondo them and fix things.
Sure.
and-
Yeah.
but
Learn
it-
this and that.
but it was just, I developed this appreciation for what those things are and the magic that they instill in some people. I mean, it's not everybody. Some people see them, they're like, oh, it's noisy, it's loud, it stinks. But other people see them, they go, oh.
Right.
And that was me. And that's still me. So to this
Yeah.
day. So that's why I like those cars. Those
Sure.
cars to me are like how someone wants to buy a Van Gogh. They want to put this, this fucking Jackson Pollock painting in their wall, and they'll sit there and they'll have a glass of wine and they'll stare at that, and that's for them. And I love painting too. I love art too. But there's the art that really fucking gets my juices going is functional art, like a car.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's a piece of functional art.
It is a piece of fun. I agree completely, and it's the that's what drives me is the create it and build it.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done with that, I'm like, really, I love it, and then I can't wait to do the next thing I'm going to create and do and build, and that's the excitement for me is the design and then the make it.
Yeah. So that's really what your good fortune is. That you found this thing that you're really good at.
Oh, unbelievably
and that you
fortunate.
Love, and that you love. That's the good fortune. And then also you've attracted like-minded great people to do these things with you.
Yes.
That's the really good fortune.
Yeah, unbelievably fortunate that as a joke, they put up with me, and help forge this stuff that I.
No, they're cool people too. It's a good vibe. Like every time I've gone to your shop, it's a fun vibe.
Yeah, they're really. You know what they are, or the term I use is because plenty of people say good people. I say they're good humans.
Yeah.
They're just a good human
They're
being.
good fisher folk. They're nice fisher folk.
That's today's word. Fisher folk. Frightening word, but yet
It's not really.
Yeah, but yeah, I am
Yeah,
really
that's the thing, and that's
really thankful for my I call it the shop family because I've got my guys, right? The current crop Troy and Kelly, and then our new boy Tommy. And then my sublet guys, as I've already said, Mick and Gabe's, those guys I consider an arm off of my shop because they become involved with it.
Sure.
They treat my stuff like it's something,
Yeah.
they put the care into it and their talent into it. And so it is a group of like you said, like-minded guys that, and they care that their name's on it.
Yeah.
They actually want to do a good job.
Your story's cool, is because your story, building that first car in the garage like that,
Or the barn, yeah.
yeah, all that stuff. That's what people need to hear. Like that, there's a path to finding what it is you do, and that path is going to be weird, and it's going to take a long time sometimes. It's difficult, and it's not going to be easy, and you're going to fucking struggle. But you can do it. People can do it. People have done it, and maybe you didn't do it this time. So pick yourself up and try it again, and keep doing it, and keep trying to find that thing. And if you can find that thing, you'll have a happier life.
Yeah, I am, and thank you for recognizing that, because I agree with that. It's like you've actually got to work hard at this.
It's hard.
Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be building a car.
How long did that Nova take to build? That took a long
Way too
fucking
long.
time.
Way too long.
Obviously, a lot of that was your eye issues, but it took a long fucking time. It takes a long time to make something.
Right. Now, if I had nothing else to do and we just did that, it would have been done much quicker.
Even Hammer. How many years did that take?
A couple of years.
Yeah, years of everyday working on that thing. That's what people need to understand.
Yeah.
This is not something that gets made quick.
Oh, no.
It is a long time. I remember going to visit you and seeing the process from the very beginning, the bare frame, and
the bare body, and getting these
measure my
fitted
height
seat,
and make sure the windshield is a perfect size. It's all fitted for you. It's amazing. It's really, really fucking cool. And
it's fun.
It's great. What you do is it's much appreciated.
And you've done a really cool thing with this too, because this has evolved and grown and done things. It's interesting to me because I watched. There was the comedian thing, and then there was this thing, because this isn't funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing that comedians are afraid of. Like, they're afraid of, you have to be funny always.
Oh. Yeah, you've done a fantastic job of separating church and state almost.
Well, the real
You know what I mean?
separation is the UFC. That's my real separation, because I'm not even remotely funny on the UFC.
True.
The
True.
UFC is just 100%.
See, and I don't swim in those waters because I don't, but I know of you being there, obviously.
But it's a completely different gig. It's a martial arts expert gig. And that's what I'm doing. I'm analyzing choices. I'm looking at positions. I'm looking at the trends in the fight.
Yeah, you're analyzing, like you said.
I'm trying to give justice to what these guys are doing, with commentary.
Not to pretend to interview you, but did you? I think it just naturally happened. I don't think you on purpose set out to do these three things.
No.
The comedy, and then the Joe Rogan Experience, this show, and then the commentary for the fighting.
Those are just things I like.
Right, and they just happened
It just
way.
happened that things I like, I wound up doing professionally. Yeah. And the UFC was...
But if you step away from it, it's very curious. They're three very different things.
Yeah, but they're all three things that I have a genuine interest and passion for. And I think I learned something from all three of those things. And I think all three of those things, in my life, they all feed off of each other, and they all help each other. They all work symbiotically. Like being a person who talks to people all the time about different paths, different walks
different
of life,
stuff.
that informs you on the way different people think and the way different people express themselves, the way different people, what they like and what they don't like. And then with MMA, it's what's possible. Like talking about Michael Bisping fighting 10 fights with one fucking eye and winning the world title. As a huge underdog in a last-minute replacement fight, you see the human spirit in this very raw and just unfiltered form that I don't think very many people get to see. It's a wild type of human being that participates in that, and the risks they take and the rewards that they get, the highs that they get. There's an amazing speech. Find Israel Adesanya's speech after he beat Alex Pereira. Israel Adesanya, who's one of my favorite fighters of all time, he loses his title to this guy, Alex Pereira. This guy, Alex Pereira, has beat him twice in kickboxing. One time he knocked him out. And then they're fighting in the UFC for Israel Adesanya's world title. Israel loses the title to him in a TKO. Then he comes back 5 months later and knocks him out. And back it up. And this is the speech that he get. And he said to me, "Can I have the microphone for a second?" I said, "Absolutely." So watch this.
So,
Let me just hold the mic real quick.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
get back to you. Hey, shush, listen up. I want to say something. People, Earth, I need to say something. Listen to me. I hope every one of you behind your screens or in this arena can feel this level of happiness just one time in your life. I hope all of you can feel how happy I am just one time in your life. But guess what? You will never feel this level of happiness if you don't go for something in your own life. When they knock you down, when they try on you, when they talk about you, and they try to put their foot on your neck. If you stay down, you will never ever get that resolve. Fortify your mind and feel this level of happiness as you rise. One time in your life, but I'm blessed to be able to feel this again and again and again and again and again.
Beautiful. That's the end of the podcast. That's life. That's life right there, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Strope, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much
and
for being here.
thank you very much for the
It was
opportunity.
a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your friendship.
Thank you.
And
we'll
what you did with that
same
car
again.
is
We'll have to do it again.
a masterpiece.
Yeah.
You created a masterpiece. You're a fucking awesome guy. Thank you. All right. Bye, everybody.
That's it.